The contest, 106 apiece. 15-16, 106, 16-10, 106.
Hello again. Well, that's where we leave the Kangaroos West Coast game for the moment, but stay tuned to National 9 News at 6 when I'll be back to bring you all the latest from Manuka Oval. Right now, though, let's cross live to Subiaco Oval in Perth for the opening bounce as the Adelaide Crows take on the Fremantle Dockers.
Important player for the Fremantle Dockers.
He's been fantastic. Crode and Justin Longmuir. There's McLeod, of course, the superstar. Crode and Justin Longmuir going forward for Fremantle at the start, to be picked up by Smart and Bassett.
He's got a wonderful record, Andrew McLeod, against the Fremantle Dockers. He's averaging 31 touches a game in his last 4 outings against the Dockers. Set to go here, round 22 action at Subiaco. Umpire throws it up to start proceedings. Simmons got high, got the tap down to Hazelby. First kick of the contest. Didn't travel too far. The bare minimum 15, and it's marked by Tyson Edwards. So Edwards will come wide to the members' side, to the run of Nathan Bassett. Bassett will go long for the first inside 50 of the game. You look at the wind there, just carried that ball, and Mark Rasciuto with courage comes back, and Hewitt takes the mark for Adelaide, but you just saw the carry on the football then, Ben. That really did drift with the wind.
That is a fantastic grab, though. Just going back with the flight of the footy, he had no idea what or who was around him, kept his eye on the ball. I thought that ball was going a little bit wide. You need to keep the ball in the middle corridor today because of how much wind there is around, but great mark from Hewitt.
Just his second game of the season, Evan Hewitt. Not a great kick off the boot. He's pushed it across the goal face and misses to the far side. So the opening score of the afternoon goes to Evan Hewitt and the Adelaide Crows. We've gone just over a minute, and they lead by that one behind.
Very difficult kick in for Matthew Pavlich, as will be all the kicks from this end of the ground. So much wind going straight into Pavlich's face. He needs to be completely accurate here.
Decides to go long to half back at the front. McGregor over the top. The spoil came from Simmons. Ball locked at half forward. Stengline tries to break free, and the umpire gave him plenty of time, and I'm sure they will this afternoon with players trying to get a clean disposal.
You can hear that wind blustering in the effects marks.
Ball thrown up. Simmons nudged out of it by Clark. Laddams across to Edwards at the 50 into the pocket. Up goes Burton, couldn't take the mark. A chance for McManus to clean up. He does so. Hair pass across the goal face. Dangerous. Coops in the end. Good enough to get to Pavlich. He accelerates into open space, into the path of James Walker. Will it stay in? No. Out of bounds. The Crows doing all the early attacking. One behind to Adelaide. The Crows will finish third. And the Fremantle Dockers hoping to chalk up win number 10 for the season. From the throw-in comes to Doughty. Across his body to half forward. Massey and Coops coming across Hewitt. Was he taken high? No. We'll have a throw-in just outside the 50 for the Crows. And Adelaide kicked 18 goals in round 7 to defeat Fremantle. I'd suggest this afternoon half that might do the job.
So I mentioned the clearances already and the fact that Adelaide are dominant in that area. They've won the first 3 of this game. It's an area that Fremantle will need to be very sharp on this afternoon. An infringement in the ruck contest is going the way of the Crows against Troy Simmons. Got into his opponent's back, and Matthew Clark has the resultant free kick. They'll contest 20 metres out from goal. A big fist away came from McFarlane down to Stengline. Stengline from 35, standing start, put through the opening goal of the game. So Tyson Stengline front and centre.
Limonaro is back. Game over.
Tyson Stengline returning home, started his career with Subiaco before heading east to Adelaide. Clark up the tap, down to McLeod. McLeod to Kane Johnson, towards half forward. Here comes Coops for Fremantle. Got the hands free, flipped it over the top to McManus, to the run of Pavlich, to Walker. It's backward to centre wing. Tumbling kick towards half forward. Didn't give Jeff Farmer much of a chance to mark it. And it goes out of bounds.
And he's not going to get them lace out today, Jeff Farmer. He needs to keep his work rate up. Even if he doesn't get a nice kick, he needs to remain involved in the contest.
Clearance is now 5-0 in favour of Adelaide. Crode comes in to be the second man up. Clark still got hands to the ball. Went to Hazelby. Dowdy and Farmer take it back to the line.
It was actually good play by Adelaide. I think they're trying to team up onto Troy Simmons. Crode coming in to give a hand because he's got such a fantastic leap at the ball. Looks like the Adelaide players are trying to stop that run. That's good play by Bassett here. Good team play.
So Bassett and Clark against Simmons and Crode. It was a tag team ruck contest. Ball goes forward only as far as McManus. McManus by hand to Pavlich. Steps inside Bode. Kicks towards half forward. A 2-on-2 contest. Carr at the back. Stenglein in front. Ball just holds up in the breeze. And Stenglein takes the mark. Moves it on quickly to Johnson. To the run of Ben Hart. Towards half forward. Massey. One out with Coops. Coops got across the front of the contest and forced it to the line.
A throw in about 65 metres out from the Crows' goals. They're attacking to the city end, left of screen in this first quarter. And the ruckman again gather. Shallow throw in. Simmons over the top, taken by McLeod, throws it on his boot inside the 50. Bounce is crucial, eludes a few. A chance to clean up the back by Grover. Played it pretty well. Off to the run of Cook. Has a couple of bounces. Through right half back. A third. Delivers inside 50 for the first time for Freo this afternoon. Longmuir flew at the spill. Edwards is there. Supports Smart. Gives it across to McGregor. Thought about giving it back. Ambitious hand pass intended for Clark. Cook put the pressure on. Bassett does brilliantly. Lays it off to Smart. The Crows out of trouble. To left half forward. Burton opposed to Grover. Burton just slapped it in play. Now Grover has to be good. Stevens applies a tackle. Burton goes to ground. Ball tied up. Stevens still fights for possession. He keeps it alive. Norris in his final game gets hands on the football. It jars free and over for a boundary throw-in.
And when you're going into the breeze, which Fremantle are, you need to run the ball from defence. Great play from Troy Cook. Took a couple of bounces. That's how you get the ball deep in your forward line.
The forecast, not great. Getting worse as the afternoon progresses. Johnson emerges from that. 35 metres out. Misses to the left-hand side. Terrific evasive skills from Kane Johnson. A minor score. And the Crows lead by 9 points.
Yeah, and those clearances, Jace, that you were talking about prior to the game, they've already started. Johnson just too easy taking that ball from that boundary throw-in. We saw McLeod just get away from Walker a couple of minutes ago from the outer side boundary throw-in as well. Looks like someone limping off. Matthew Carr.
Yeah.
Looks in a bit of bother.
That's a loss.
He's been in pretty good form for Fremantle. Got named in the State of Origin, WA State of Origin side this week.
Thumping kick out from Pavlich into the breeze. Went a good 60 metres. Some heavy body contact in and around that close contest. He's coming back to Norris. And he'll have his first possession in his final game of football. Wide to Pavlich again for his fourth touch. All from handball receives. Towards the wing. Kick drop short. Bassett takes it on his chest.
That's why you got to run with the footy if you get an opportunity.
Bassett brings it inboard. Plays on. Crode comes at him. Takes him down. Umpire says play on, nothing in it. And Bode marks 75 metres out from the Adelaide goal. Goes inside 50. McLeod the target. Coops went back. Walker held his ground and took the mark. Norris breaks to the members' side. Has a little bit of time as Laddams comes in to close him down. Chips it over the top. He's got two runners. One of them's Cook and the other is Parker. Parker returning after a hamstring injury. It was a beautiful kick towards McPhee, but he spilt the beans. And right on 50 gets gang tackled. Opportunity goes begging for Fremantle. Still alive though. Medhurst. Slung in the tackle by Edwards. Stenglein wins it for Adelaide. Gets it to Johnson. In good vision and good hands, gets it to McGregor, to Bassett, and the Crows are away from half back. Out wide, towards the outer wing, the mark taken by Doughty. Well, McPhee had the opportunity, just couldn't quite hang on. And Rashudo now comes through the middle of Subiaco. Goes deep inside 50, Burton at the back, Pavlich at the front, McFarlane there, got hands to it. Tidied up by Parker, to Bell. Works through heavy traffic. To Grover, back to Peter Bell. Straight up the middle looking for Medhurst. Good effort from Crowder, tap it clear of him. Stenglein taps it on to Rashudo. Rashudo runs to 60 metres out. Goes towards the Pavlich and Stevens duel. Off the hands of Pavlich. And then he runs away from Mark Stevens. from the defensive goal square. He goes wide to the outer side. Simmons lunges, can't quite hang on to it. Massey there as well. Simmons keeps it alive. Turn a beat.
Tackle.
Holding the ball, throwing the ball, said the umpire.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. Pretty good work rate from Simmons there. He got to his feet pretty quickly, but a fantastic tackle from Clark. Great technique. Got down low and brought him to the ground, and incorrect disposal, so that's a correct decision.
Good tackle from Clark, pinned the arm. Simmons had no choice. He had to drop it or throw it.
Tough shot from here, though, isn't it?
Could just set it up to the front of the goal face and let the wind bring it back from here. Clark from 40 metres out. Goes for it and does exactly that. He's popped it through from the angle.
Oh, Troy.
People often ask me, what gets me pumped before a show? Is it the fans? And I'd have to say no, it's more than that. It's the zinger! KFC's Zinger Burger is the real deal, with a marinated chicken breast fillet covered in a feisty, crunchy zinger coating. Woo! Oh yeah, that zinger taste is all I need!
Just the 5th goal of the season for Clark. He's back in the centre square again. Won, though, by Simmons. Cook's kick was ineffective. Hacked forward by McGregor through the hands of Grover. Coops left it behind. Grover does well. Little hand pass accommodates Hazelby. Toe pokes it back to Parker. They've still got possession at half back through Grover. Johnson sees him over. We've got a throw in. Let's go boundary side to Michael Thompson.
Matthew Carr has rolled his left ankle, being examined now by doctor and physios. I don't like the look of it. They're still just trying to feel. They're concerned there may be a fractured or broken bone in there, but fingers crossed he'll be back pretty soon.
Bode kicks to full forward. Dangerous here for Fremantle. Taken by McPhee. Oh, he set Parker a task. He went to ground under pressure. Coops. Kick was partially smothered. Grabbed on the half volley by Norrish. The kick was poor. Seagate was the target. Tyson Edwards gathers, lays it off to Hewitt, loses his footing, goes to ground. Pack develops at half forward, and we'll have a ball up. But the disposal by the Fremantle Dockers there, not what it should have been.
Yeah, they've been asked to do a fair bit of work at the opening stages of this match, the back half, but great bit of play by Stengline then, just put power and body weight through the footy.
McManus got it to McPhee by hand. Loose ball, Crowell and Medhurst. Medhurst plays it very well. Support comes from Cook. The hand pass just missed its target. And Crowell gathers for the Crows. Kicks long. Coops in best position. Bit of carry on it with the wind behind it. As a result, it floats to the back of the pack, but a free kick has been plucked out of that. It'll go to Coops. Fremantle under siege in the opening 12 minutes here. McManus just short of the wing. Kicks long towards the 50. Crowell from behind, very good defensively. Puts a fist on it and sends it over. We've got a throw in.
It's very, and just notice Paul Medhurst just asking his teammate to keep the footy on the deck. That's their chance when they're going into the breeze for the small forwards. Keep the ball lower rather than high.
Adelaide won 3 of the last 4 games over Freo by an average of 42 points. Although here at Subiaco, it's 3-1 in Fremantle's favour. Norrish tackled by Laddams. Ball spills free. Here's Rashuto. Third touch. Not overly effective, so he goes in and wins it again. Bode to Rashuto again. Third effort. McManus taken high. Advantage will be paid. Fremantle Dockers break to this side. Through the middle of the ground they come. Norrish has a couple of bounces. Be a fairy tale way to finish a final game.
Well done.
Chips it inside 50. And Medhurst marks 35 metres out.
Yeah, Chris Conley would be absolutely wrapped with that, because that's the exact style of play you've got to play in these conditions. If you get an opportunity to run with the ball, you do it. Crowell actually came towards Norrish, which is Medhurst's man. Just a little pop over the top. Good peripheral vision from Norrish as well.
Not a bad spot to have this kick, even with the breeze, the shelter of the 3-tiered stand.
Yeah, he can go straight at the goal umpire here, who's right in the middle of the goals, and the ball should go dead straight.
Medhurst has had a David Beckham-like colour run straight across the top of his bonce. From 35 metres out. Keeps it low and steers it through. Fremantle have their first.
I wasn't sure what to expect when I joined the Air Force. It's a bit scary at first. You make mistakes, just like anyone else. But all the training we do prepares us well for that. I found it quite challenging, but not unachievable. you get to do some amazing things, like when you're flying around at low level through canyons. As a kid, I used to count the number of times I'd flown in a jumbo, and with no more flying experience than that, now I'm a fighter pilot.
So Paul Medhurst kicks his first. 34 goals in a debut season. It's a marvellous performance. He's been an excitement machine over here all season long. Simmons wins it himself from the ruck contest. Doughty off the back edge of the centre square. Handball over the top to Bassett. He flips one to Ken McGregor. McGregor to half forward. Hewitt his target. Burton there as well. The back of the contest, Grover. Coming through heavily was Johnson. Burton wins it out. Gets it to Johnson. From the boundary line, 40 metres out. Pulls it back. Does Kane Johnson. Fantastic goal. Well, one of our colleagues is known for saying something out of nothing, and that was certainly that. Kane Johnson, not sure whether he was centering it up or having a shot. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It was a wonderful kick.
He was having a shot, of course.
That's the benefit of the doubt.
But it was just work rate, wasn't it? Burton just got his hands into it, and, well, even though it was a bit fluky going through, it was a disciplined kick again. When you're going with the breeze, it's pretty easy to blaze away and have a ping at goals, even though you're on a difficult angle or far out from goal for that matter. So it was to the front of the square, got a lucky break.
So the Adelaide Crows dominating in the early stages of this match. The restart, Bode slaps it to the advantage of McLeod, tumbles a kick inside 50. McFarlane was there. No mark taken. Over the footy was Burton, flipped out of it by Coops, in turn to Grover, releases McPhee. Oh, the kick was Paul Laddams, slips in and takes the mark. The Crows on the attack again. Laddams wants to take on Norrish. Good pressure by the Fremantle Docker veteran. Cook across to Grover. Hard up against the boundary line, smothered off hands. We've got a throw in.
I reckon the Adelaide Crows have been completely dominant out of the middle. I know Simmons is getting up there, but the smalls for Adelaide have been very, very good in that area.
14-point lead to the Adelaide Crows. From the restart, Stingline took possession off to Doughty. From 60 metres into the pocket, Stevens is the target. Pavlich tries to see him over the boundary line. He does that effectively. But the Fremantle Docker defence have seen plenty of action in the opening 16 minutes. Another chance for the Crows to score. Clark caught behind. There's a free kick. It'll go to Troy Simmons. Just a holding infringement by Clark on this occasion. Been a terrific pickup for the Fremantle Dockers has Troy Simmons.
It's one-on-one everywhere too, Mark. Good defensive play from Adelaide.
And not a lot to kick to. As a result, we'll go long as possible. In the Crow direction, McGregor, though, stands firm at the front of the pack and takes a very good mark. Kenny McGregor, as the sun breaks through at Subiaco, kicks to full forward. Free kick's been plucked out of that. It'll go to the Adelaide Crows, and just a fraction late on that occasion. And the kick will be taken by Evan Hewitt about 35 metres out, slight angle.
He was in front, though, wasn't he? If there's ever a free kick awarded, and, I mean, that's as soft as butter, but if there's ever one awarded, it's always going to go to the man in front. They've shown some real signs of playing disciplined football, Adelaide. I don't reckon Fremantle will be too disappointed in this start. They haven't been blown away, and they're going against the breeze, but they're kicking it to the right spots in their forward half, Adelaide.
Former Kangaroo, Evan Hewitt, tries to bend it back, hits the post about 2/3 of the way up.
So Evan Hewitt, another former Subiaco player. He and Tyson Stengline both started their careers over here in the West. He's kicked 2 behinds this afternoon, Evan Hewitt. Adelaide's lead is 15 points. 8.5 minutes remaining in the opening term. Pavlich with a kick in, takes it outside defensive 50. Packer players underneath it. Fist over the top, it comes to Laddams, to McLeod, by hand to Edwards, who had it, lost it, and now he's definitely lost it. It's picked up by Stengline. Stengline goes inside 50. Burton at the back. It clears them. That's the breeze for you. And over the back of the contest, dribbles through for another minor score to the Crows.
Haven't had any momentum from Matthew Pavlich's kick-ins. This will be the 4th time he's had a crack from full back. Very difficult skill to execute today when you're going into the breeze.
Inside 50s, 14-2 in favour of the Adelaide Crows. Clearances are 13-3.
So go straight from the zone and very quickly into man-on-man footy.
Walker plays on. Tumbles a kick outside 50. McGregor at the front. Timely fist from Simmons brought it to ground. McGregor hacks it off the ground, but it was just over the boundary line prior to that, and it'll come back for a throw-in about 70 metres out from the Adelaide Crows goal as Paul Medhurst trots to the bench. He'll be replaced by Ben Cunningham.
And these are the boundary throw-ins that Fremantle got to be right on their guard here. McLeod's in there somewhere. Johnson, they're pretty good from these clearances normally.
Clark at the tap down. Too easy. Down to Stengline. McLeod actually smothered the kick.
Well done.
Johnson. Good hands to Doughty. To McLeod. Chips it inside 50 looking for Stevens. Illegally walked off the ball by Coops. And it will come back. And Mark Stevens will have a shot for goal from about 45 metres out. Reasonably tough angle. Again, if he can just sit it up towards the front of the square, the wind will bring it back.
Yeah, just inside the right post. I wouldn't be giving the goal away, but I reckon one of the reasons why Troy Simmons has come off is because Adelaide have been pretty good in that area. He's been double-teamed. He's having a bit of a breather. Lee Brown has come on. Just expect Lee Brown, if he goes into ruck, just to throw his body weight around.
Very blustery conditions. As Stevens comes in. Right behind the kick. He's done it well. Started it inside the right post. And it goes straight over the top of the goal umpire's hat, and he's got his first.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night in?
Let's have the Pizza Hut guy.
Great.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this. But what was totally unexpected...
Good afternoon. Welcome to Amy.
Oh, you're a real person. At Amy, you'll speak to a real person, not a computer.
So the Adelaide Crows off to a flyer here at Subiaco, kicking with the breeze, but certainly dominating out of the middle. Secondary bounce looming here. Stengline under the football.
And Simmons has come off. Justin Longmuir looks like he's into the ruck.
Centre clearance is 5-0 in favour of the Crows.
Chance for another one here. Comes to McLeod. He's on his way. Free kick advantage paid to full forward. At the front, Burton juggles the chest mark, and from 30 metres out, almost directly in front, can shoot for Adelaide's fifth.
So my apologies with Lee Brown, but you just can't give Andrew McLeod any space on the goal side. I mean, he set up the last two shots at goal, and Burton just putting himself in the right spot. But I've been impressed because all of Adelaide's kicks into their forward half have been very, very central.
McLeod's had 6 touches. 4 of those have taken the ball inside 50.
Brett Burton, one of 6 Crows to have played every game in season 2002, shoots from 35 metres and sneaks it through. The Crows have got 5.
And the problem that they've got, Fremantle, a player who you could look at to go on to McLeod is Matthew Carr, and Tomo mentioned he didn't look too good in the dugout, but just look at this, too much space for him to run into, and once he's in that position he can kick that footy anywhere. Just not good enough pressure, and their number 1 taggers out for the game, I would suggest. So they've got their problems. Freo,
numbers not looking good for the Dockers. Inside 50, 16-2. Clearances 15-3, so they are smashing them in close. Stengline's had 7 touches, 6 each to Johnson and McLeod. And for the Dockers, McManus has had 6, 5 each to Grover, Coops and Pavlich. Brown in the ruck, wins the tap. Rashudo taken in a tackle by Lee Brown, secondary bounce.
I suggested at the start of the match that 9 goals might win the game for either side. The Crows might get it in the first quarter.
They're out to 5 now. Their lead's 28 points with 6 minutes remaining.
They've got a 5-goal breeze, I reckon.
So it's a thriller here at Subiaco. Farmer. Picked up by Cook to Seagate. Can Fremantle build something? It's a wide open forward line. It's Longmuir against Smart. They're the only 2 players inside the 50. Smart does well on the one-on-one contest. He's got some support now. Goes by hand to Crowell. He can flip one over the top. He's got McGregor. They've got the loose man going around the outer side as Bassett gives it to Rashudo. Rashudo with his 5th touch. Goes for a run. Chips it inboard and finds Kane Johnson. Drop the mark. Play on the call. Bell put his body on the line. Not rewarded. Play on. Rashudo there. Gathers again. Thumps it long inside 50. Stevens and Hewitt, the marking options there for Adelaide. But coming forward and taking a very good mark on his chest. Great grab taken by Matthew Pavlich. Sensational last week on James Hird. The 20-year-old, he's already played 61 games of football. This season he's averaging 18 possessions and 6 marks a game. And he thumps it long outside defensive 50, close to the line. McGregor flies over the top, got hands to it. It's looking threatening, Ken McGregor. He's had a couple of good flies in pack so far, just hasn't quite been able to bring them all down. Umpires picked out a free kick from this mess. Players sort themselves out. In fact, it's going to be a bounce as we head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
Matthew Carr, a dejected figure in the dugout for the Fremantle Dockers. His foot's just in ice. The ankle doesn't look good at all. No attempt to strap it. Unlikely we'll see him again.
So there's the free kick against Lee Brown. He's coming back to Rhett Biglands, who started on the interchange bench. He and Matthew Clark have shared the #1 duties in the ruck this season for Adelaide very effectively. Thumping kick from Biglands. They contest 15 metres out from goal. Ball still alive. Burton acrobatically tried to gain possession. Couldn't do so. We'll have a throw in. Here's Luke McFarlane. Very exciting prospect. It's Hawthorn's first pick in the '99 draft, taken at 10 overall. Crossed the Nullarbor and returned home to Fremantle this year. Prosciutto couldn't quite gain control of the football.
And this is a bit of a worry. Lee Brown hasn't done a huge amount of ruck work for Fremantle this year. He's been asked to just throw his body in there, but Biglands is more recognised in these areas.
Biglands clean hands down to Johnson. Kick partly smothered. It's picked off by Cook. He got it to Bell. Towards defensive 50. Brown taken in a tackle by Biglands. McGregor in there, farms it out to Bode. Bode tried to crash through the Cook tackle. Not such an easy thing to do. McGregor across his body. Bell dropped the mark and the ball spills out of bounds. Troy Cook, the #1 tackler in the AFL. Not too many men get through the Troy Cook grip.
They've opened this out. There's a fair bit of space on the goal side of Adelaide. This contest here, they should sweep on it.
Biglands tries to take it out of the ruck. Was looking for a handball to Massey. Woods got in there to intercept. McGregor taken down in a fierce tackle by Lee Brown, and the ball goes out of bounds again.
The Fremantle Dockers spending a lot of time defending their goals in this opening quarter. Troy Simmons started the match. Now an onlooker, Biglands. Somehow got it to McGregor, very slick by hand, to full forward at the back rover with him Parker, spills to Bode, little kick, free kick, in fact, and Bode taken high, will get a shot on goal from about 35 metres out. The Fremantle Dockers supporters would like another look.
Gee, they've given away a few free kicks down just in front of goal. Now, again, it looks at first hand to be reasonably soft, but I think the supporters, I mean, it was a little bit high, and I guess the umpire saw it. But initially, that boundary throw, the boundary throw, and you mentioned a slick handball, Skeet, looked like a rugby pass to me.
He got away with it. The umpire was caught blindsided. Matthew Bode. From about 40 metres, left foot kick on its way. The drop punt is gun barrel straight. And the Crows have got 6 for the first quarter.
They rule the road in search of the perfect garden.
Now, don't be frightened of them. They're tough hombres.
Are the Blitz team tough enough to rise to a biker's challenge?
What a fantastic way to celebrate Father's Day.
Backyard Blitz, 6:30 tonight on 9. Tonight,
Australia's most breathtaking homes open for your inspection.
from the palatial to the intriguing, Deborah Hutton presents the addresses you've only dreamed of. Locations, amazing homes. 7 o'clock tonight on 9.
Well, a gripping start here for the Adelaide Crows. They lead by 34 points with just over 3 minutes remaining in the opening term. Stenglein got the handball to McLeod. Another possession for him. To centre half forward, the mark taken by Johnson. Johnson by hand to Laddams. Gets onto his left boot, goes inside 50, looking for Hewitt. Beautiful kick. And he marks it right in front of his eyes, just inside the 50. Evan Hewitt goes to the lead of McGregor. Dragged down in the contest.
Oh, another free.
Obvious free kick, that one.
There would have been how many free kicks forward in forward 50? I think at least 4.
It's been an expensive opening term. 5 free kicks inside the forward 50 for the Adelaide Crows.
and they're just putting themselves in front, aren't they? It's not like they're doing anything extravagant. They're just putting themselves...
And they're all pretty obvious ones too. The Bode one was obvious. That was obvious.
You had to give them, don't you?
So McGregor. I've already seen Matthew Clark kick a goal from this pocket. The Breeze will assist. In he comes. Chips it up. He went to school on Matthew Clark's kick. He slotted it through as well. So Ken McGregor kicks his first. He's third for the season. And the Crows just roll on at Subiaco.
Gee, that's a remarkable finish, isn't it? I actually, if that was McGregor leading at me and he led right towards the boundary line, I would have ignored that lead. I know the kick did go to him and the free kick was allowed, but he's had to end up kicking this right on the boundary line. You get 4 out of 10 there, you're doing very, very well. And I guess they got their confidence up. If someone's on, you give it. But I thought that one would have gone a bit more central as well.
They're sharing the load beautifully. 7 goals, 7 individual goal kickers.
The Crows can do no wrong. A brilliant first quarter. Sting line wrapped up in a tackle by Bell on a secondary baller.
The last 2 centre bounce, Troy Simmons has slipped, and he'd be very, very worried about his footing.
40-point margin. Simmons wins it down. Farmer. Interesting kick. Simmons spikes it forward. Edwards somehow got out of traffic. Lays it into the path of McLeod. Buys some time, gets it back to Edwards, just forward of centre wing, smothered by Bell. The Dockers captain just trying to lift the side nearing quarter time here. And the ball rolls over and out.
Here's the centre bounce of Troy Simmons slipping. Oh, some injuries can happen if you're not sure of your footing, and he'd be a bit worried about that. He needs to just change his angle going to that footy.
Biglands wins this, straight down to McManus though, in turn to Farmer. Norris back to Farmer. Open space in front of him, has a bounce, runs his full measure. And the build-up wasn't matched by the finish. Jeff Farmer had about 5 different thoughts going through his mind as he approached goal.
And none of them were, I'm going to kick this goal right over the top of the umpire's head. That's remarkable. Justin Lomuel's in the square. He could have run another 2 metres. He's almost missed that. Unbelievable.
Edwards has got it. Rebound football coming up here, and the Crows hitting back hard. Laddams, loose man on centre wing, and Doughty. Meters in the clear, has a couple of bounces, runs towards the 50. They can hurt them at the other end here, Adelaide, to full forward. Grover at the front, at the spill. He does well, does Anthony Grover. Gets it off to McPhee, under pressure. The hand pass to Woods, still inside the defensive 50. Left foot kick towards the wing. McLeod, just over his head. A chance for Hazelby, scoops it up looking for Walker. With pace, tries to juggle it to his advantage. Off hands, we've got a throw in. The Adelaide Crows looking far more dangerous when they move the ball forward, albeit with a strong breeze. Not a good sign. Matthew Carr prowls the boundary line.
Heartbreaking miss from Jeff Farmer.
And he's standing in the middle of the ground, no one paying any attention to him whatsoever.
Throw in. Longmuir tried to take it out of the ruck contest. Bode was yapping at his heels. Comes to Cunningham, to Hazelby, inside 50. Biglands goes back with the flight. Simmons being wrestled with Hart, allowed Biglands to come across the front of the contest and take an uncontested mark. Swings it wide to Doughty, 20 seconds remaining on the clock. He can chip it over the top to Nigel Smart. Time for one more if he can get a long kick and a mark. Smart.
Good play.
Steps inside Seagate, then goes to the outside. Still running Nigel Smart. High ball inside 50. They need a mark with 5 seconds remaining. At ground level, Johnson twists, turns, kicks, bounces, through! Johnson gets his second right on the siren. There was a sense of inevitability about that one. And the Adelaide Crows turn on one of the best first quarters of the season, slamming on 8 goals for 52. Fremantle 1-1-7. Inside 50s, 21-5 for the quarter. Clearances 19-7. And the margin at the opening break, a whopping 45 points.
What a great run from Nigel Smart. He's just continued his good form, but when the ball's gone down there, they've just bolted from the half-back line, the Adelaide Crows.
The Crows are going to fly. They lead by 45 points at the opening break.
Premiering 8:30 Monday.
What company is this?
Experience an unparalleled television event, unlike anything you've ever seen.
These men have been through the toughest training the Army has to offer.
From Academy Award winners Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg comes an epic saga of conflict, courage, and sacrifice.
I lost a man today. I don't even know enough to buy a beer.
And a fight against tyranny that will live forever.
I'm ready to face that. And every one of us had better be too.
The award-winning special event series premiere.
Just weapons and ammo. Let's go. Get out of there.
Civilized place for civilized men.
Band of Brothers, 8:30 Monday on Channel 9.
This guy's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love.
Caprice Series 2. Only the best.
The way I do.
We're off to the city. City dismantlers, of course. They're so huge, the only way to see it is in one of these. Check out the size of this place. There's over 9 acres undercover. All the big names are catered for. Engine reconditioning, bags and tyres, new engine parts. It's massive, and the staff have the experience to back it up. Now that's service. Come to the city for all your auto needs. Yeah, City Dismantlers. They're Australia's largest automotive supercentre.
Pasta is always a family favourite, and here are 2 easy ideas from Woolworths to fresh food people. First, the pasta bake. Cook the pasta in Woolworths premium beef mince. Add Dolmio chunky farmhouse vegetable pasta sauce and bring to the boil. Layer the pasta, top with half the mince sauce and a packet of Woolworths fresh spinach leaves. Repeat layer and cover with Millel's light grated mozzarella. Cook for 25 minutes and serve with a fresh green salad. For the pasta pie, cook the pasta and Woolworths premium beef mince. Add Dolmio chunky farmhouse vegetable pasta sauce and bring to the boil. Combine cooked pasta, add some mozzarella, an egg and fresh continental parsley. Spoon into pan and top with mozzarella. Bake for 20 minutes and serve with some fresh Woolworths salad mix. For these fresh ingredients, shop at your nearest Woolworths supermarket. You'll find these recipes in this month's issue of Australian Good Taste magazine. We'll see you again tomorrow with more great ideas from the fresh food people.
Fighting the never-ending battle is one thing.
I've heard Luther talk about you, like you're something special.
But when you're a bit different...
You have a secret you don't want the world to know about.
It's your heart that's the toughest opponent of all.
You can't always be honest with people. It's one of the prices you pay for your abilities.
Experience television's hottest new stars in Nine's hottest new address.
What do you think?
I think it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
The all-new drama of Smallville, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
Next week, an A Current Affair exclusive, the Aussie supermodel who's taken the world by storm. And she'll be right here in Adelaide. Megan Gale speaks exclusively with Georgina McGuinness. That's next week on A Current Affair, right after the news.
This AFL coverage brought to you by Carlton Draft, Amy, and Primus Telecom.
Well, there's the breeze blowing the trees over the back of Subiaco towards Kings Park. And the margin at quarter time, well, talk about being blown away. The Fremantle Dockers all but have been. They trail by 45 points. Adelaide 8-4-52. The Fremantle Dockers are 1-1-7. The Crows had use of that strong breeze in the opening term, but it was out of the middle and around the stoppages that they just absolutely blew Fremantle away, Ben Owen.
6-0 out of the middle, just amazing. And I reckon Simmons was doing his level best. He was certainly getting his hands to the footy, but just a disciplined quarter of football from Adelaide.
2 other games of round 22 action on this afternoon. The Kangaroos taking on West Coast at Marnica Oval, and Carlton take on Essendon at the MCG. If you don't want to know the score, look away now. Let's head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
Got Kelly O'Donnell, assistant coach with the Fremantle Dockers. Kelly, it's a strong breeze, but it's not with a 45-point lead.
Certainly not, Tomo. Look, Adelaide have just been beating us to the ball. And when they've got the ball, they've used it far better in the conditions. When we've gone forward, we've wasted our opportunities, but they're really red hot at the moment. We've got to look at just halving contests, getting our hands on the footy and starting to dictate the play a bit more.
Chris Connolly gave him a big spray then.
Yeah, and so he should have.
All right, good luck in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So Adelaide's best ever first term against the Fremantle Dockers eclipses their 8-3-51 back in round 14, 2000. And where to from here for the Dockers?
Well, they made one change. Matthew Pavlich has gone into the middle, so he's a competitor. He's pretty good one-on-one, so expect Fremantle will have a real crack at the centre bounce here going with the breeze.
So second term begins. Adelaide lead by 45 points. The Dockers must attack. Clark gets the tap down to Stenglein, to Johnson. Centre clearance 7-0 in favour of Adelaide. Massey, Rasciuto stands up through the Coops tackle. Fires a handball over the top to the run of Johnson. He's kicked two. He gets onto his left boot and misses to the left-hand side. A couple of major stats from the opening term. Inside 50s, 21-5 in favour of Adelaide. Clearances 20-7. Individually, Kane Johnson's had 11 possessions. McGregor 9. McLeod and Stenglein 8. For Fremantle, McManus has 7. Cook, Grover and Pavlich 6 apiece. Speaking of Pavlich, he comes out wide, only as far as Evan Hewitt.
So Hewitt pumps Adelaide forward with a loose man inside the 50. Ball just floats.
Just dropped too.
Dropped in its trajectory, and Mark Stevens from just on the 50 can get an early goal for Adelaide. In the process, really put a nail into the Fremantle Docker coffin.
Just dropped that footy. I mean, Seagate was probably reading that ball in the air, and Stevens was free for a period. And I mentioned, I reckon he is an underrated player, this bloke. He just is very, very consistent. Already kicked the goal directly in front here. Because of the three-tier stand behind the goals here, he'll aim this directly at the goals.
Yes, the runner-up in last year's fairest and best at the Adelaide Crows from 50. Pretty good distance with the kick. He's just missed to the right-hand side, but plenty of carry kicking into that wind. 8-6 plays 1-1.
There's Rasciuto just getting arms there, Stephen Coops. He needs to get his shoulder in a lot closer to someone of Mark Rasciuto's strength. Just poor technique from Fremantle.
The Dockers are shell-shocked here. Matthew Pavlich told to get on with it. Drives it along in the Simmons direction. Coming across to the side, Clark takes the mark. Matthew Clark looks upfield. The leads start to come. They're giving so much time and space that Andrew McLeod, 35 metres out directly in front, can have another shot at goal.
Well, I think the problem is Pavlich, in all his point kick-ins, he's gone long all in the first quarter, and the first two kick-outs from fullback here, James Walker's just got to be play in front of McLeod going into the breeze. He's gone long again. It's very, very easy to read from Adelaide's own point of view.
Andrew McLeod, 45 out. The ball does not deviate, and the Crows get a perfect start to the second quarter.
You say this guy's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love.
Caprice Series 2. Only the best.
The way I did.
So Andrew McLeod gets his first goal for the afternoon. He's 21st for the season. He's averaging 31 possessions a game against the Fremantle Dockers in the last 4 meetings. He's well on his way again. He's got 9 this afternoon. Ball in the middle of the ground. Scrappy passage of play. Umpire calls play on. Stenglein had it. Lost it. Here's Rasciuto. Comes in for his 8th touch. Bassett ripped off the kick. Bounce favours Edwards, and then crashing through was Cunningham. Released the hands, got it to Longmuir. He fumbled. Cunningham goes again, taken down at a fierce tackle from Kane Johnson. They pile in and will have a bounce just inside Freo's forward 50.
They're not taking their foot off the pedal, are they, Adelaide? They know they're playing for a spot in the finals match next week. I reckon Gary Eads would be thinking about resting a couple of his key players, though, McLeod in particular.
Here's Laddams. Off hands from the ruck contest. His 6th touch. Around the outer wing. Mark taken by Seagate.
That's what they've got to do. They've got to break it down, Fremantle, contest by contest, and just try and grind their way back into this match.
Seagate's second possession for the afternoon. Comes inside the centre square and finds Norrish. His 6th touch. High kick. Longmuir the target. Gets to the front of the contest. Off his hands. Picked off by Hart. Comes towards the members' wing. Finds McGregor. It's been important. He's had 11 possessions, Ken McGregor. Averaging 11 a game in season 2002, so he's having a fantastic afternoon thus far. The ball bounced just inside the boundary line, and Mark Stevens will have a throw-in. Adelaide with a good record against the Fremantle Dockers. Won 3 of their last 4 games. And they're well on their way this afternoon. They lead by 53 points. Rashudo going nowhere, courtesy of the Matthew Pavlich tackle.
Good coaching by Gary Ayres. He's got Andrew McLeod just having a break. It's what you need all your body weight to get Rashudo to the ground, but McLeod just having a break in at full forward at the minute.
Simmons tried to palm it to Bell. Stenglein was in the way. Ball finds its way to Hazelby. Steps around a couple. Goes inside 50. Longmuir bustled out of it by Smart. Play on the call. Bassett comes charging through. Here's the counter punch from Adelaide. Ball sits for Edwards to Bassett, and they run it into the breeze. Had a bounce. Kicks towards half forward. Hewitt out on the long lead. The kick just drifts wide. He can't keep it in. And we'll have a throw in about 60 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
And the crowd not happy with the treatment on Justin Longmuir via Nigel Smart, but Smart reacted pretty quickly when that ball hit the deck. And he hit the deck, he was up pretty quick attacking.
Clark in front, got it down to Bode. Players pile in on top of it. Sitting over the top of the football. And a bounce 60 metres out from the Adelaide goal. Inside 50s in this contest, 24-8 in favour of the Crows.
Andrew McLeod getting the only goal in this quarter. The kick by Norris. Cruel bounce for Edwards at the back, taken by Cunningham. Open forward line, Crode caught behind Bassett. Gave his opponent a nudge. Umpire in good position. And that Nathan Bassett will take the free kick.
Crode 0 possessions. Justin Longmuir 0 possessions. Lee Brown 0 possessions.
Hard to win a game of football with some of your big names not getting hold of it. That kick pitches just inside the field of play before going out. 53-point margin. And the Fremantle Dockers, such a promising season. This match could tarnish what has been a very good year. For the Crows, it looks like being a fantastic build-up to their finals campaign. Edwards,
kick.
Accommodates Johnson. He's got runners inside. Doughty or McGregor goes himself. A couple of bounces, runs through the centre square. Sweeps the hand past to Hart. With ample time, off a step. Kicks to Hewitt, who's made space at the 50. Evan Hewitt.
Clark's on.
Wants to go long. 55 metres out. Plenty of distance on the kick. Just tugs it to the left. And a minor score, but the Crows playing all over the Fremantle Dockers in this second term.
And running without pressure. Gary Ayres has got things under control. We'll just see what Pavlich does here from full-back. He's gone long on every occasion. He just needs to break it up so Fremantle as a team aren't as predictable from this area.
Plenty of indecision for Matthew Pavlich, and as a result, he's called to get it on. Grover has to stretch too much carry, and that just about sums up Fremantle's day thus far. The kick in, the Adelaide Crows will be taken by Laddams. 65 out, into the pocket. Burton, in between a couple of Dockers, takes an easy mark, and it's starting to get ugly this afternoon here for the Fremantle Dockers.
Well, that's almost an uncontested mark, isn't it? Deep inside, Adelaide's forward 50. Just had to be arms on Peter Bell. I know he's not the tallest man out there, but I reckon he could have put a bit of body weight onto Brett Burton's arms and just to make it a little bit difficult for him to take that grab.
Almost point-blank range. He pops it through for yet another goal for the Adelaide Crows. His second of the day.
People often ask me, what gets me pumped before a show? Is it the fans? And I'd have to say no, it's more than that. It's the zinger! KFC's Zinger Burger is the real deal, with a marinated chicken breast fillet covered in a feisty, crunchy zinger coating. Woo! Oh yeah, that zinger taste is all I need!
So the margin out to 10 straight goals. We've gone 9 minutes in the second term, so there's plenty of time if Fremantle's good enough.
A week.
Clark tries to take it out of the middle. They've been dominant in there this afternoon. 8 clearances to 0 out of the centre for Adelaide.
The crowd wants to know what the free kick count is, Jace.
It's 9-5 in favour of Adelaide, and Pavlich has it just backward of the centre circle.
Here's a good lead.
Towards half forward. Hazelby the target. Couldn't bring it down. Tried to win it again at ground level. McLeod swoops on it. Holds it up. Gets run down. Took too long holding the ball. Well, it's not often you see Andrew McLeod run down. He was just trying to hold it up and draw the players in front of him towards him. Didn't realise he was going to be tackled from behind.
He can kick this, Cunningham, as well. Someone should get in his ear. He's got the wind behind him and say, go for home.
It's a thumping kick. Kick the winner from outside 50 against the Saints in round 2, and he's given that an absolute roost. It's right to the line. Ooh. And Ben Hart just got a hand back on it and rushed it through. Great call, Ben Allen. So here's the tackle on McLeod. Cunningham swooped in from behind. Edwards disappointed with the kick. He was looking for McGregor. McGregor stood tall, worked Lee Brown off it, and then got the handball away. They keep it alive through Laddams. He goes for territory and gains about 35 metres of it. We'll have a throw in. As I mentioned, Crode, Longmuir and Lee Brown yet to get on the stat sheet between them. Fremantle's one and only goal was at the 14-minute mark of the opening term to Paul Medhurst. In fact, they've only had 2 possessions inside their forward 50 for the entire game. The Adelaide Crows have had 22. Throw in. Just love being the bearer of good tidings for Freo fans. My apologies. Smart goes inside 50. Off the hands of McFarlane. He can butter up and go again. Lost his feet. Did well. Flipped it out to Woods. Woods goes looking for Bell. Under pressure. Paddles towards Norris. He's bumped off the ball. Coops in over the top. Lays a tackle. Holds it up. We'll have a bounce just inside the forward 50 for the Adelaide Crows.
It's starting the obvious that they need a bit of a spark for him. And maybe get Farmer up into the midfield and let him have a bit of a run around.
Brown off. McPhee on. And straight into the action. Dropped the mark. Smart took him high, and he'll take a free kick. Free kick's now 9-7 in favour of Adelaide. Try telling that to the 21,313 people here at Subiaco.
It's where you get them that's important, though, isn't it?
McPhee goes short and finds Hazelby just back with a centre wing.
Had a wonderful year, Paul Hazelby. Pops it over the top to McPhee, who's got hold of the football as soon as he's come back on the ground. Let's see, get inside the centre square. Kick. Looking for Medhurst. Went to ground at the back. Crode lays it off to Pavlich. He's got Cunningham further afield. Can't quite get a handle on it. Matthew Pavlich loses it. And Edwards comes clear. Bounces the ball to the wing. Stevens couldn't control it. Parker off to Grover. Kicks long. Now Crode's by himself. Has to wait a long time under this. Made a mess of it. The wind, I suspect, might not have helped his cause. Gets it to Pavlich. Almost run down. It affects the kick and goes through for a minor score. Comical, but not funny, I guess, for the Fremantle Dockers as Trent Crode stretching. Couldn't quite reel it in.
See if Adelaide have any trouble getting the ball out of fullback. It's a pretty difficult kick. I wouldn't like to be Ben Hart actually taking this.
Kicks long, beautiful looking drop punt to half-back. Smart will come from behind, in fact from the side. Coops, almost his chest mark, at ground level, scooped out of there brilliantly by Clark. The kick by Stingline was smothered. Run down, Grover to Hazelby. Here's a chance for Medhurst, stands under it. Free kick or the mark, take your pick. And Paul Medhurst with a chance to post just the second goal of the afternoon.
And, well, it was a good setup from Adelaide. They had a contest outside 50 when Ben Hart kicked that ball in, and Stengline got his hands on it and decided to kick the ball over the top instead of handballing, and Medhurst remained back in the zone and stood his ground as he's done all year. Goes through his routine. He's been looking at Matthew Lloyd, I think, tossing the little clippings of grass up in the air. He'll just kick this inside the right post.
So Paul Medhurst, only off 3 or 4 steps, but the kick, didn't the Fremantle Dockers need that one? They've got a goal off the boot of Paul Medhurst.
With Bunnings Warehouse's huge range and lowest prices, choosing something for Dad is child's play. 8-metre tape measure, $3.95. Azito cordless drill, just $27.99. Club 4-burner barbecue, $167. 4-tier O'Connor shelf kit, only $17. And Joey Paws, great value at $8.95. We won't be beaten on price. And that's guaranteed. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
So Medhurst gets his second goal and Fremantle second. The margin back to 52 points. Clark against Justin Longmuir. Neither really an effective tap. There's Rashudo again with strength. Got it to Doughty. Bounced it in favour Bell. Here's Massey. Handball was wild, but Doughty's got some time and space. There's Laddams. He gathers. Goes inboard to McGregor. McGregor takes the mark just forward to the centre circle. Chips it over the top. Stenglein ran hard to present an option. Again, the bounce didn't favour him. Just gives the big Dane Argue to Cunningham. He runs to 50 to Stenglein, kicks towards the goal square. Burton there. He was out of the contest, Burton. Did brilliantly. Was just buffeted out to the right side of the pack. That goal won't be paid. He'll have to come back and kick over the mark, but he was out the right side of the pack, had to turn around and represent himself. Just floated across the front and took the mark. He's had a great year, Brett Burton. Leads the Adelaide Crows for goals. He's kicked 2 this afternoon for 46 for the season. From point-blank range, kicks his third.
Again,
as an airborne tactician, dropping tons of gear from our aircraft is pretty unbelievable. And when it's, say, somewhere overseas, I just can't tell you how that makes me feel. It's such a buzz. It's just excellent.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the Perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night in?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
47 goals this season for Brett Burton. 11 on the board for the Adelaide Crows, and another centre square break through Johnson. To half forward. Woods across to Parker, in turn to Grover. Chain of hand passes ends up with Peter Bell. One bounce. Kicks to an open half forward line. Crow charges. There's a host of Crows around this. Well, that was very silly by Trent Crow. Doughty's gone to ground. Umpire didn't play a free kick unbelievably. Cunningham, left foot kick, drills it through for a goal. Dockers supporters celebrate, but Doughty, he'll have a headache tomorrow morning.
Well, the Adelaide players getting around the umpire, saying, you're kidding. Nathan Bassett sprinted a good 25 metres towards the umpire then and went absolutely bananas. There's Michael Doughty. The goal comes to Cunningham.
It was actually strange that he chose the bump. I would have thought he would have gone the tackle there. When a player is running at you with momentum, Doughty coming off, he's been a little bit obviously shaken, but you'd expect him to be okay. I would have thought Crow would actually go to the tackle there and remained in the contest with the ball in the vicinity. So, but he went the bump. They got a goal out of it, I suppose.
Shaken, not stirred, Michael Doughty. 52 points the margin in favour of Adelaide. There's Rashudo again getting hands-on in the contest. Centre clearances 11-1 in favour of the Crows. Pavlich has it. There's been a free kick played off the ball. It's going to Fremantle for holding. It comes back to McManus.
Shirley just pulling McManus down.
Ninth touch for McManus. Puts it over the top. It was a 2-on-1, but the ball went straight to the one, and that was Hart. Gathers. Looks inside towards Shirley, and he gets his first possession for the afternoon. Robert Shirley. Ugly spinning kick towards half forward. McFarlane against Stevens. Stevens all over the top of McFarlane. No free kick. Bode taken down on a tackle by Longmuir. Gets it back to McFarlane. Was good play. Was good hands. Got it through to Coops. Tried to run through the Clark tackle. Ball comes to Pavlich. Just backward of the wing towards half forward. Medhurst comes out. Morale led him to the football. Got it to Edwards. Took on a couple. Crow softened him up and McPhee hammered him. We'll have a bounce.
Had to be a free kick somewhere in there.
Well, I think Tyson copped one a little bit high. Follow up too, just quietly.
Ball on centre wing. Hazelby goes looking for Cook. He's taken high. Mark Andor free kick to Troy Cook just inside the centre square. The lead comes from Simmons out wide. The kick won't go that far. Farmer hung off, expecting Simmons to come on and take it. The only man coming through was Crowell. Got it to Gallagher. Around the outer side, links up with Smart. Just holds it up, gives it back to Crowell. Towards half forward. Interference in the marking contest. Free kick Adelaide. Against McFarlane. Stevens with the ball. Spears it inside 50. Beautiful kick. And McLeod comes sizzling out on the lead and takes it right on his chest as Matthew Clark comes to the bench to be replaced by Rhett Biglands. Andrew McLeod will line up for his second goal with his 10th possession. As Jason Norrish also comes to the bench for Fremantle. He'll be replaced by Peter Bell. Just 4 possessions for Bell. He leads the competition in stats this year, averaging 26 a game. Ball's with McLeod. 40 metres out. Deliberate approach. Efficient approach. Effective approach. A goal. 2 goals.
Statewide. Well, my employer puts in 9% now, but I'm putting a little bit extra in myself while I'm young.
I'm self-employed, and Statewide helped me to get great insurance to protect my income and my family.
Well, we got a really good deal on our home loan through Statewide.
Oh, I like their low admin fees. Only $1.20 a week. Well, I just thought I could trust Statewide. They help me understand super.
Statewide Superannuation Trust. Your key to super you can trust.
The Brisbane Lions will be watching this performance by the Adelaide Crows with some interest as they look ahead to the first week of the finals. Justin Longmuir into the ruck. Pack develops. Stengline tries to force it free. Can't do so. Let's head boundary side to Michael Thompson.
Michael Dowdy's shaken but not stirred too much by that hit from Frank Crode. Just getting a little bit of attention, but he should be fine to come back on soon.
Rotation of the bench this afternoon by the Adelaide Crows, trying to keep their players fresh. And once again, we've got a stalemate. Been dominant performance by the Crows from the outset here this afternoon. An 8-goal-to-1 opening quarter. And they've continued in a similar vein. Biglands looking for Bode. Coming through. Seagood couldn't take it with him. Once again, it spills free. Gallagher around his body to the 50. Stevens front position, nudged into it by Woods. He takes the chest mark, quick to get on with it. To fall forward, the pass. Burton hits him on the chest. Rebounds to Rashudo. The captain, left foot kick, round his body. Grover, will he get there in time? Takes the relieving mark. Looking oh so dangerous, the Adelaide Crows, when the ball is in their forward 50. Grover floats the kick. It's poor. Burton keeps it in momentarily. Shirley across to Biglands, but the umpire has blown the whistle.
And the pressure skills from Adelaide when Fremantle get the footy has been quite remarkable. They're very well balanced around the contest, so one-on-one, and if their opportunity to tackle and throw a Fremantle player to the ground, they do it.
Justin Longmuir opposed to Biglands. Bode runs into a brick wall in the form of Trent Crowe, in the form of Troy Cook, rather. And a stalemate.
He stood up pretty well in the tackle for a little bloke, that young Bode, didn't he? Troy Cook running at you 100 mile an hour.
Best tackler in the business, Troy Cook.
Absolutely, and he retained 2 feet on the ground. Good strength shown there by Bode.
Again, Biglands works his way to the front. Cook floats a hand pass in the direction of Seagood. Lays it off to McManus, the former captain of the club. Kick was a scrubber towards the wing. Bassett, little gift to Hart, was effective in the end. The Crows working in tight confines. Crowell, watch out. Farmer from behind. Good enough to get it though to McLeod. Just short of half forward. Biglands through his fingers. Toe pokes it. Taken by Walker. The Dockers can build from half back. That's a very poor kick up and under. Hart from behind spoils. At the back, McLeod and Hazelby. Go for the football, McLeod. He's pure silk. He's unbelievably good. Across there to Hart. In turn to Doughty. Back on the ground. Showing no ill effects. Tyson Edwards has it 65, 70 metres out from goal. Left foot kick. Dangerous spot. At the 50. Stevens couldn't mark. Coops left it behind. McFarlane charges through. The Dockers out of trouble or no? Not quite yet. Biglands over it. Needs support. Gets it now from Edwards. Little give across to Bode. Inside the centre square. He's got a loose man. Floating forward of centre half forwards. Mark Stevens from 65 unloads with a long drop punt. He misses to the left-hand side. 12-8, 80. The Crows, Fremantle of 3-3-21, nearing half-time.
Tyson Edwards with 13 possessions. Kane Johnson 13, McGregor 13, Bassett, McLeod and Stengline all with 12. Grover leads the way for Fremantle with 10. So the top 8 possession getters on the ground are all Adelaide Crows. Coops has the mark. 7th touch for him. Comes inboard to Cook.
They've got to take some risks, don't they? Just get some flow and run off the half-back line. I reckon Cook should have just dished that off to McFarlane, who was running by, and the ball would be at full forward by now, but he just slowed things down.
Kicks around the outer wing, was looking for Longmuir. He went to ground. It's the one touch to Justin Longmuir so far in this game. McGregor has it for Adelaide. Umpire said it was a throw. And the ball's going to come back. Crows had 2 possessions. Simmons 2, Medhurst 3, Farmer 3. Justin Longmuir 1. So some of their big guns, particularly forward to the centre, struggled to get into it this afternoon. Cook. Handball backward to Bell, coming up for his 5th possession. As I mentioned, he's averaging 26 a game, so he's been well down as well. And Hazelby has it for his 10th touch. 70 metres from goal, Paul Hazelby chips it over the top. Cook's going to have a couple to beat in the air. And at ground level, McGregor wins it. Goes out wide towards Gallagher. Hazelby to beat, takes it to the line for another throw-in. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining till half-time. Longmuir at the back. Bigland's at the front. Ball spills to the advantage of McManus. Gathers. Little handball on the overlap to Peter Bell. Bell goes long inside 50. Here comes Medhurst. Flies high. Ball cleared that contest comfortably and runs to the boundary.
And the ball finally gets in there reasonably quickly. Medhurst has to actually jump over 2 or 3 people. Look at that, uncontested possessions. 94 to Adelaide, 66 to Freo. We're not even at halfway mark yet.
Says it all. They've had 50% more ball in total, 162 to 113, the possession count. And here's Smart to come away for Adelaide.
Gee, they run it well from the half-back line, don't they?
Wants to draw McPhee to him, give a handball to Edwards.
The support.
Still running was Hart. Good disciplined play, and he's got one inside as well. Comes to Doughty. Doughty goes straight up the middle. Rashido at centre-half forward. Stevens there as well. It spills to Stengline. Off to Gallagher. Gets onto his left boot from 45 out to the goal square off the hands of Burton. Right to the goal line, and it's rushed through by Shane Parker.
3 or 4 numbers off Adelaide's half-back line, just helping out, just in case someone's under pressure. There's always a give and a release.
Woods thumps it long, very long outside the 50. But standing tall to take the mark is Stevens, and the ball's going to go straight back inside for Adelaide.
33 times inside the 50 compared to 15 for Fremantle. The Dockers' defence has been under siege. The kick wasn't great. Cunningham comes over the top of McLeod. The defensive spoil sees it over. 60-point margin. Final round of season 2002. The Crows have bigger fish to fry during the month of September. It's mothballs for the Dockers, though, after what's been a pretty good year, coming off 2 victories last season. McManus across to Bell, the hand pass. Made it tough for Seagate in the end. Got it away, looking for Justin Longmuir. Had to stretch for the big fellow. He did it okay. Pavlich dribbles it to half forward. Medhurst goes to ground. Smart off his knees across to Bode. The run comes from Gallagher on the logo. Delivers to half forward. Biglands from behind has to spoil a chance for Stevens at the 50. Kicks towards the top of the square. Almost a mark to Rashido. A chance for Woods. Slaps it to Grover. Got support over the top. Farmer. Haven't seen much of him this afternoon. Sweeps a hand pass to McManus. Comes inside looking for Bell. Pops it over the top. Simmons has the football. 20 seconds left in the opening half. Brown couldn't mark it. Smart was there as well. The Crows with one last chance to score. Out wide, John Cock. He's got a loose man. Almost at the 50. Doughty has it on the lead. Burton, front position. No mark taken. Stevens over it. Time may beat the Crows. A sigh of relief from the Fremantle Dockers. But the first half, no question about it, belongs to Adelaide. 12-9-81 to the Fremantle Dockers, 3-3-21. The margin is 60 points in that term. The Crows managed 4 goals. The Fremantle Dockers just 2.
Wednesday, the one and only Herb Newton.
I think
coming low.
The funniest moments from a crazy career with footage that even Bert's forgotten about. Tom Lane hosts the best of Bert Newton, premiering 8:30 Wednesday on 9. Win big bucks with Burjo. There's 25 grand up for grabs. Be watching Burjo's catchphrase weeknights and name the South Australian landmark to win $1,000 cash. Come home to Adelaide's catchiest game show. Burjo's catchphrase, 5:30 weeknights on Channel 9.
People often ask me, what gets me pumped before a show? Is it the fans? And I'd have to say no, it's more than that. It's the zinger! KFC's Zinger Burger is the real deal, with a marinated chicken breast fillet covered in a feisty, crunchy zinger coating. Woo! Oh yeah, that zinger taste is all I need!
Australia's own R&B sensation is Selwyn, and his debut album, Meant to Be, is jammed full of hits. With 3 hits down and more to come, grab Selwyn's hot new album. It's simply meant to be.
All the finals action is at Sky City Adelaide this month, with over 30 grand in cash and prizes to be won.
Did you know that just down Anzac Highway there's a very beautiful valley? It's called Gunya Valley, and you can only find it at the Classic Timber Furniture Company. Gunya Valley is exclusive to Classic Timber, so you know it'll be value for money. Made here in South Australia, Gunya Valley furniture will be the antiques of tomorrow. The richness of the timber, the pure craftsmanship. Very beautiful, but very affordable. Want to see Gunya Valley? Then you'll have to visit the Classic Timber Furniture Company, 19 Anzac Highway, Keswick.
Italian design has a style which has influenced the world. Nowhere is this talent best seen than in Italian design automobiles and motorbikes. The Motobella exhibition celebrates some of Italy's finest vintage and modern vehicle designs. Motobella, on now at the National Motor Museum, Birdwood, sponsored by Shannon's Insurance and the Channel 9.
Hey, kids.
I want to be number 1. Be the best player of all time.
So you want to be the best in the world?
That's the rhyme.
Find out how. 60 Minutes tonight.
You told me to do that, didn't you?
You are a skilled and gifted surgeon.
Tonight.
You imagine you're going to find a more gratifying life?
Michael Caine in his Oscar-winning role with Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire and Charlize Theron. The Cider House Rules premieres tonight on 9. This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Primus Telecom, Amy and Duracell.
Half-time here at Subiaco Oval in Perth, and it's Adelaide 12-9-81, dominating the Fremantle Dockers, 3-3-21. The half-time margin, 10 straight goals, 60 points. It was 45 points at quarter-time after the Crows came out and with the breeze slammed on 8 goals to 1. They then added 4 goals to 2 in that second term to increase their lead to 60 points. Brett Burton, 3 goals for the Crows, 2 each to McLeod and Johnson. Paul Medhurst is Fremantle's only multiple goal scorer, rather, with 2 goals. But we said at the start of the day, Ben Allen, that Gary Ayres doesn't like to flirt with form. They'd like a good, strong showing this afternoon as a nice lead into their September action, and they're certainly putting that on.
Gee, they've spread the load too, haven't they? 8 separate goal scorers already in this match. Their clearance is absolutely dynamite. You pointed that out at the start of the game. McLeod was fantastic in there. Prosciutto is normal self, and every time when the ball goes into their forward 50, it's in a central position. So if there's a loose ball here, like Stengline's ball shot at goal there, it's a relatively easily shot at goal. They've also been very, very hard. I mean, this is a bit of a lucky one from Johnson, but all the same, it was a disciplined kick to it because it was towards the front part of the square.
They appeal to me as a side that know their strengths and weaknesses. They know their limitations, they know where they're strong over other sides, and they exploit them very well. They've done that today.
And that's what you got to do. You got to play to your strengths, don't you? And their run-off halfback has been very good. I reckon Stengline's been running with Bell for a certain amount of the game, but they just put the ball in the position where their forwards can fly at it. And Burton has been pretty good, and I've been impressed with Stevens as well down there.
We've got the 5 major stat getters on the ground in the first half. Edwards and McGregor 14 apiece. Johnson, McLeod and Stengline 13 apiece. They are dominating all over the ground. As you say, it's to a nice, disciplined game plan that they're executing perfectly.
Yeah, Freo need a spark. There's no question about that. Been a little bit disappointed in Jeff Farmer. I mean, he's missed an easy goal, and he tried to put on a bump there at the end of that quarter where he should have gone the tackle, but he might be the player that can give him that spark. Put him in the middle for a bit and try and generate some run from there.
There's been plenty of talk around all year. The premiership's a race in 2. I believe it's a race in 3. I think the Adelaide Crows are still good enough. They've beaten Brisbane, and they probably should have beaten Port Adelaide when they first met earlier in the year. So exciting times ahead over the next 4 weeks for Gary Ayres and his Adelaide Crows. Here is Gary Ayres.
Well, I think it's been improving, Paul. Obviously, last year we finished in a situation where we were 8th, so currently we're 3rd. So I'd like to think that the nature of our year's been one of improvement, and that's pretty important with such a young list. Probably been, I'd say, the home game win against Brisbane, because of the fact that they're a very, very good side. They're obviously the premiers from the previous year, so I'd have to say that win against Brisbane in a very, very tight game. Oh, the low light, I think some of the injuries to some players who we obviously need playing well, the likes of Ryan Fitzgerald, who unfortunately couldn't get his career going, and perhaps even a Scott Welsh, who was in very, very good form. So, but having said that, it presents opportunities for other players. I think there's probably a group of players that have been pretty important to our structure this year, and that's a lot of the second-tier players. And to name some of those, you'd be having to look at Biglands, McGregor, Crowell, Johncock, Laddams, Bode and Doherty, probably just to name a few. I think just seeing the group grow this year, and from where we started at the start of 2002 to where we currently sit, we've probably just made a few people sit up and take a bit of notice of what we're trying to create here. And I think that's been pleasing as a coach to see that group develop and grow over the last 6 or 7 months. And that's going to be important to see it continue to grow and see how far we can go. I think with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of excitement, we got to this particular stage last year. And of course, we're in a position where we've probably played some pretty soft footy towards the end of the year. So we would like to think that we're in a better position to perform at a much higher standard and look forward to the challenge of the finals.
So the Adelaide Crows will register their best ever home and away finish in 3rd position. How far can they go? Well, time will tell. It's half-time here at Subiaco. They lead this one by 10 goals.
You are a skilled and gifted surgeon.
Not a doctor. I haven't been to medical school.
Homer Wells has spent his entire life helping others.
You imagine you're going to find a more gratifying life?
I was wondering if you could give me a ride.
Now he's leaving everything he knows.
I've never seen the ocean. Are you serious?
In search of a world he longs to discover.
You may have lost him to the world.
Michael Caine in his Oscar-winning role, with Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire and Charlize Theron. The Cider House Rules premieres tonight on 9.
Holding Sophia up gives you room to move.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
If you're looking for tyres or wheels, get out of Bow Repairs first, because when it comes to finance options, we're very flexible. Hey, Rich, hey, come on here. We haven't finished yet.
Pay nothing until April 2003. Call Bow Repairs for service, 132381.
Is your old roof leaking, creaky, or collapsing? Replace it now before expensive structural damage is done. Use Stratco Renovation Roofing in Colorbond. Stratco Roofing. Phone for an authorised dealer to call.
Roberts has got to chase Bickley, but Mark Bickley's too good for him. And kicked a goal.
Big Clive McLeod. Terrific mark.
Over the top, Shell.
Big marker.
Premiering 8:30 Monday on 9.
Man, it's literally the toughest training the Army has to offer.
From Academy Award winners Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg comes an epic saga of conflict, courage, and sacrifice.
I lost a man today. Not even old enough to buy a beer.
The award-winning special event series premiere.
Let's go! Get out of there!
Civilized place for civilized men.
Band of Brothers, 8:30 Monday on 9.
Jason Norris there playing his final game. Wouldn't be enjoying it at the moment. They trail by 60 points at the major break. And Ben Allen, Fremantle, been a bit disappointing this afternoon. It's been tough going for some of their big names. 3 possessions to Simmons and Farmer, 2 to Crode and Medhurst. You mentioned the word before, spark. Fremantle need to find some spark and find some excitement.
Yeah, and I think 2 of their guns are the boys can actually provide that, Farmer and Crode. I mean, they've been a little bit, I mean, it's been frustrating for them. The ball hasn't been delivered lace out because it is such a blustery day, but that just means you've got to get your work rate up. This is the strange one. Adelaide player there, Dowdy, got the footy. I just would have thought Crode would have gone for the tackle there, and he's just sensed by his actions here that he's getting a little bit frustrated, but you know, he's an experienced player, he's been around for a while, and if he maintains a work rate and effort in that forward half, they can maybe grind their way back, you know, into a respectable scoreline.
Let's take a look at the stats to half-time. Understandably, Adelaide on top in all categories.
Look at the centre breaks.
11-1 the centre breaks, and as a result, almost a direct result, the inside 50s are 35-15, because it's all one-way traffic when they go back to the middle.
Yeah, no, the back line from Fremantle, they've definitely had their work cut out, but just how clean they are in those centre breaks, Adelaide, just amazing. And I reckon it's been 50-50 in the taps. Simmons was okay early. And they've tried a number of plays in there, Fremantle, Lee Brown as well as Justin Longmuir, but just the pygmies on the ground have been outstanding for Adelaide.
Well, the Dockers have got a half of football to round out what's been a pretty positive season for them. When Chris Connolly took over at the start of the year, very optimistic vibe around Fremantle. How does Chris Connolly think season 2002 has gone?
Very positive. I think we've had some players step up into the A-grade bracket where they can go out onto the ground and influence the environment before the game starts, and we've also been able to find depth within our list. The Derby win, I mean, I wasn't aware of how important it is to the club in this city, but you know, to square the ledger ended up pretty important. Probably not to have won interstate, and that'll be the big challenge for next season. Peter Bell, Troy Simmons, Matthew Pavlich, Shane Parker and Matthew Carr have been our best performers. The best moment when I started at the club was when I understood the attitude of the players in terms of how desperate they are to be successful, and that was, you know, the driving force behind everything we've done here at the club, and they're a fantastic group to be involved with, and that's the most special thing that's happened this season. We need to put a line through our list. We need to put a line through our staff. How can we get better? What can we do? And we've been preparing for the off-season from 2 or 3 months ago, so we're looking forward to the season ending and getting on with the next challenge.
Right, yes. So just tell him straight out the answer is yes. Yes. Yes.
This news break is brought to you by Bank SA Personal Easy Loans.
Good afternoon. Northern Territory Police are investigating an abduction south of Darwin last night. 2 German women were forced into bushes in the Litchfield National Park by a man armed with a handgun. They were handcuffed to a tree but managed to escape and contact police. We'll have the full story at 6. Also tonight, a man's been rescued from the Morialta Conservation Park after becoming stuck on a ledge while rock climbing. And Wayne Carey and his wife Sally had flown out for an overseas holiday after a surprise appearance at a Melbourne function last...
They say life's a journey. But why lose the thrill along the way? Introducing the all-new Mazda 6. New SVT engine, new active-matic transmission, new everything. Feels like a sports car. Looks like a Mazda 6.
Fellini's have always been known for their great wood oven pizzas, pasta and other superb cuisine. And the best venue for your next function is Fellini's upstairs. Fellini's function room is ideal for weddings, conferences, that special dinner. Whatever the reason, celebrate at Fellini's, O'Connell Street, North Adelaide.
As a director of Profix, I've prepared this statement. It was with sincere regret that we discontinued our $109 service and tune. We have since been inundated with requests from our customers to continue this offer. As a compromise, Profix has decided to continue this offer for a strictly limited period, but it must end soon. So book your $109 service and tune at Profix now.
When I first left school, I started working for a large firm, but I really hated it. I thought, there's got to be more to life than 9 to 5. My job now as an airborne tactician, I'm in charge of how we basically achieve our mission, where the aircraft goes, and what we do to get the job done and then return safely. One day we might be flying across to the United States, then when we get home we might be dropping troops somewhere. If someone told me 3 years ago that I'd be doing this job in the Air Force, I just would have said, no way.
I was amazed at how much we actually saved.
Cutting your phone bill by more than half.
We've been paying far too much for our phone calls.
No tricks, no hassles, no fine print.
The savings there have been significant.
The new deal you can't afford to miss.
It's time for a change.
Plus debt busters.
I couldn't make the repayments and also survive.
How to break the credit cycle and put you back in front.
I would recommend this to anyone.
And Adelaide's boom and bargain suburbs, when Nissan presents A Current Affair.
They rule the road in search of the perfect garden.
Now, don't be frightened of them. They're tough hombres.
Are the Blitz team tough enough to rise to a biker's challenge?
What a fantastic way to celebrate Father's Day.
Backyard Blitz, 6:30 tonight on 9.
Half-time here at Subiaco. Some youngsters Oz kicking around there, leave the stadium. Great memory for them. But if they're Fremantle fans, they'd be hoping for a big lift in the second half. It's Adelaide 12-9-81, leading the Dockers 3-3-21. The Crows will have use of that strong breeze blowing from right to left in the third term as they huddle together for one last word. They'd be keen just to continue their momentum heading for the finals. Two other games of round 22 action on this afternoon. Kangaroos and West Coast at Manuka Oval in Canberra, Carlton and Essendon at the MCG. You know the routine. If you don't want to know the score, look away now. So, Ben Allen, you were in Chris Connolly's seat this time 12 months ago. What would Chris have said to his boys at half-time? They're 10 goals down. They've got an hour of football left in their season.
Well, I think it's important for them to finish off the season well. And I think to do that, they need to break each contest down and have a contest-by-contest mentality for the rest of this half. Their backline has been, you know, they've had their work cut out. McFarlane's tried hard, so has Parker. But it's in the midfield that they need just a dominance. They need to get guys involved, share the footy around. They've got their guns in there. Simmons has been noticeably quiet. Pavlich is in there alongside Bell and Cook. And they're the guys, you know, if you break it down into a contest-by-contest scenario, they might be able to work their way back into the game.
Well, the Crows want to make a change here, but they can't do so because they've lodged their sheets with the interchange steward. So Stenglein will remain on the ground. Looks like he'll be coming off for Shirley once the play recommences. It's the Crows by 60 points at half-time as we start the third term here at Subiaco. We start at the way the second finished with a centre clearance to the Crows. Ball goes inside the 50. Over the top of the Burton-Parker contest. McFarlane at the back to tidy up for Fremantle was good play. Pump the handball wide to Woods. He comes away from defensive 50. Wants to draw a man and does so. Handball missed its target. Pavlich runs onto it. Had hold of Clark. Play on's the call. Woods came in again to lay a tackle. Umpire says holding the ball. Clark sat over the top of it and made no attempt to get rid of it. Matthew disagrees. The free kick will go to Dion Woods, playing his 18th game of football this afternoon for the Fremantle Dockers. He's played 10 this season. Kicks around the wing and finds Simmons, just 3 touches in the opening half. Been averaging 16 a game in 2002. Goes towards Cook. He chips it over the top, looking for inside 50 to Norrish. It's just gone wide and out of bounds on the full.
Just think they need to go for it. I mean, there's not much point kicking it wide out there at the junction of the 50 and the boundary line. You get an opportunity to get it in there deep, just kick it in there as long as you can.
Recommencement of play. Bell offered a contest. Brought it to ground. Gets it back from Norrish. Gives it to Cook. Floats a handball inside 50. Medhurst didn't take possession. Knew he was going to be tackled. Paddled it to Norrish. Tries to spin out of the McLeod tackle. Gives it to Farmer. Hoists it high towards the goal square. Longmuir will come at it for Fremantle and takes the mark.
And that's why you need to get it in there as quickly as you can. I mean, that wasn't a classical entry from Fremantle's point of view inside 50, but this boy, Longmuir, one-on-one, he's very, very difficult to beat. That's why he's in such high demand around the country. He's out of contract. He's playing with a bit of a knee problem at the minute. He's got some knee cartilage, but one-on-one, he's hard to stop.
First mark, second possession, first goal to Justin Longmuir, and the Dockers have the first of the third term.
Is back. Game over.
The Fremantle Dockers getting the first goal of this second half. Could this be the start of their comeback? Simmons, raked of it, comes to Pavlich, driven into the ground, spills to McLeod, bouncing ball inside 50, slapped out of there by Brown. Cook runs onto it. A peck in the step of the Fremantle Dockers for the time being. Into the path of Coots. He's got men at half forward, one of whom is Peter Bell, the skipper, at 70 metres. Could almost go all the way. Sweeping hand pass to Pavlich, off to Crone, off a step, shoots on goal. He's just missed. They need to rattle on some quick goals, and that would have been ideal, but Trent Crone couldn't do the trick.
Thought it was in, didn't he, Trent?
Adelaide Crows in control, but the Fremantle Dockers have started this second half like they perhaps should have started the first. Bassett kicks it wide, looking for McGregor on the stretch off hands, and we have a throw-in.
And these are the areas, just these boundary throw-ins, where Fremantle, this is the one-on-one contest that I'm talking about. They need to at least halve these contests and not allow Adelaide to remain completely dominant as they were in the first half.
The throw-in. Pavlich hooks it behind to Farmer. Sweeps it to Norrish. Cook took a while to get hold of it. Throws it on the boot. It's okay. It hits Hazelby on the chest. And the Fremantle Dockers can kick consecutive goals. A rarity.
Well, you get your hands on the footy and strange things can happen. Cookie's a bit bemused by that pass, but you claim that. It's hit his mate Hazelby right on the chest. Hazelby in front should convert.
35 metres out, Paul Hazelby splits the middle, and the Fremantle Dockers get a little closer.
Jenny Stevens didn't expect this, but what was totally unexpected, at Amy, we'll replace your possessions, no matter how old they are, with brand spanking new ones.
Lucky you're with Amy. Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the Perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night in?
Let's have the Pizza Hut guy.
Great.
The Dockers with the opening 2 goals of the third term. Get the margin back down to 47 points. And here's Bell again. Kick partly smothered. Doughty did well. Goes and gets it. Cops one high from Bell. Just grabbed him around the neck as he went to ground. And Doughty will have the free kick. His 12th possession coming up. High ball inside 50. Hewitt stands tall for Adelaide. It spills to the back of the contest. Woods to Walker. Chips to Simmons, and he takes the mark. Some of these big-name players for Fremantle have been so good for most of the year. That's where the spark can come from.
Yeah, he started the second half a lot better, Simmons, hasn't he? He's running around freely.
Handball to Grover, almost drifted out of bounds. He gathered just inside the line. Kicks around the wing. Laddams went one-handed. Spectacular effort. Cook. Wrapped up by Ken McGregor. He'll have a bounce. Umpire throws it in the air. There's been a fair bit of rain around in Perth over the last 24 hours. Fortunately, none this afternoon. The blustery wind continues on. It's blowing from right to left on your screen as we look at the Adelaide bench. There's Tyson Stengline and Rhett Bigland's watching on. Simmons got the tap. It was sharked by Rashudo to McGregor. High ball, 2-on-1, numbers in favour of Fremantle. Pavlich got a hand to it. McLeod at ground level. The dangerous Andrew McLeod gathers, balances, snaps, and it's touched right on the line by Parker. But again, pretty to watch, Andrew McLeod.
Forced through by Shane Parker, playing game number 149, just short of that milestone game, having missed last week's match against Essendon. Pavlich drives it into the breeze, and Simmons can't get across. The Crows have another chance to go forward. Hewitt has got Rashudo short, has to stretch the captain from 55. Loads up, kicks to full forward and beyond. A magnificent drop punt, and the Crows get one back.
All the finals action is at Sky City Adelaide this month, with over 30 grand in cash and prizes to be won.
So back in the middle. Clark up the tap, down to Johnson. Walker. Cook. Back to Simmons. To Woods by hand. Tries to get around Clark, does so, then goes to ground. Turnover coming. The tackle came from John Cock. Bode gets the ball, gives it to Rashudo. Just explodes away, does Mark Rashudo. Low penetrating kick towards full forward McLeod. Adelaide rest the momentum back. And Andrew McLeod coming up for possession number 16.
Pass it off. John Cock in the square. That's too easy.
And John Cock kicks the goal. John Cock gets his first, 13th for his career. He's played every single game this season in his debut year. He's been a great find for Adelaide.
Just watch McLeod here when the ball comes in. It comes in very, very quickly, but he just throws himself at the footy. Fremantle, I reckon it's Grover. I mean, he's caught on his haunches a little bit, but the ball's in his vicinity, and he just goes at it 100 mile an hour, McLeod. That's why he's very, very difficult to pick up and tackle once he set his mind on going for the ball.
So the half-time margin of 60 points has been restored. McLeod with 16 possessions, McGregor 16 for Adelaide. Cook's got 15 for the Dockers. Grover, McManus and Pavlich 12 apiece. Out of the middle, Simmons gives it to Pavlich. Towards the 50, flying high over the top is Justin Longmuir. And we mentioned confidence. He is a confidence player. And that's his second strong mark for the third term. He's just outside 50.
He doesn't like this distance, does he? That's why he gives it off.
To Pavlich from 55. Much better to go the journey from there, and he thumps it home.
Tonight, 3 men escape with their lives but not their liberty after a spectacular car crash in the suburbs. And a 5-set scare for Leighton Hewitt at the US Open.
Hey, kids.
I want to be number 1. Be the best player of all time.
So you want to be the best in the world.
That's the rhyme.
Find out how. 60 Minutes tonight.
You told me to do that, didn't you?
9 goals this season for Matthew Pavlich. Ball in the centre. Clark won it decisively. Taken by Stingline. He's going nowhere. Fremantle Dockers in this quarter, at least, have matched the Crows and playing with a little bit more vibrancy. Clark wins it. Sharked out of there by Rashudo. Sweeping hand pass. Doughty stands in the tackle. Gets it to Bode. In turn to Stingline. The Crows work it out brilliantly through the centre square. Hart roaming free on the wing. Has a bounce. Wants to come inside from 60 metres. Spears a pass into the pocket looking for McLeod. Hits him on the boot. Still, the champion goes at it against Parker. McLeod gets it back. Back feeds a hand pass. Doughty's run down. The hand pass is errant. Misses the mark. Over for a boundary throw-in.
Good play initially by Doughty out on the wing. He received the ball under pressure and he put both hands above his head and still was able to execute a tackle when he had severe body pressure on him.
Throw-in just inside the 50 for the Crows. Clark gets possession. Doughty throws it on his boot into the pocket. Just misses the lot. And Shane Parker will take the resultant kick in. 54 points the margin. It was 60 at the main break. Showers and hail forecast for later this afternoon. But the storm may have already passed for the Fremantle Dockers after a brilliant first half, and Clark, imposing himself on this match, takes the mark just outside the 50.
Have a shot.
And fancies his chances, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not a huge kick of the footy, and no, he doesn't. Well, he's in two minds, isn't he? But someone with his experience should realise he's capable of making the distance there with the breeze behind his back.
Matthew Clark, 1 goal this afternoon. Hoists this high, right to the goal line. Mark paid to McFarlane. It's through for a minor score, I suspect it is. For the Crows. Maintaining their ascendancy, 14-11-95. The Dockers are 6-4-40. That margin is 55 points.
Kick in. Finds James Walker at half-back. Defensive 40.
Need some run, don't they, from this area? Some run from behind the footy. Got to go long to one-on-one.
6-touch for Walker. Might just about come back over his head.
Oh.
Chipped it high into the breeze. Went nowhere. Off the hands of Lee Brown. And out of bounds for a throw-in. So Simmons will go in the ruck against Clark. Clark tried to paddle it down to the front of the contest to Stingline. Norris slapped it away, only as far as Doughty. Gets onto it, runs from 55. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Big pack flies. McFarlane takes a specky. Burton had the leap. McFarlane came across from the side of the contest. And that's a beautiful mark.
They've been very disciplined at manning up straight away, Adelaide. So Freo haven't got any run from their back half.
Towards Longmuir, fell in his lap. And he takes the mark back onto the wing. Here's some run through Walker. Chips towards half forward, sits it on top of Medhurst's head. Crow comes out the front and takes the mark a little too easily. So Andrew Crow. Sideways to McGregor. And he goes laterally as well. Finds Hart. And they switch play to the outer side of the ground. To open it up, it's Kane Johnson. 16th touch for him coming up. Kicked 2 goals, goes inboard to Bode. Now they work it back up the middle through McGregor. To half forward, numbers there with Fremantle, and it tumbles onto the chest of Luke McFarlane. To McManus. He'll chip it around the outer wing as well and find Pavlich. Back to McManus, who ran on in support. McManus goes towards the 50. It's a flat kick. Crow got hands to it. Medhurst wraps him up in a tackle. Chance for Hazelby, kept his feet. Dishes out a little handball to Norris. Over the top for Cook. Cook can run for 35 metres out. Shoots for goal and pops it through.
Take about Jason Norris.
Yeah, it was a good little give, wasn't it? But I reckon it was initiated from Sean McManus, just providing the overlap initially from the half-back line. And that enabled the ball to get into Medhurst and Hazelby, basically one out with their opponents. The ball went in reasonably low. Good follow-up run from Cook and a good finish under pressure again. But that run hadn't been there from McManus. The ball wouldn't be in the forward 50 reasonably quick.
To the Dockers' credit, they haven't thrown in the towel in this second half. Inside the centre square, Farmer now looking to spark them. Flips it over the top. Cook runs onto it, gives it to Simmons. The big man lopes through the centre square, has one bounce, runs to the 50, low kick. Medhurst is there at the spill. McManus needs to gather, lays it off to Coops, off a step, round his body, too much on it. Crowd stays in, does it? No, it's hit the post. Hazelby put it through, but it had just counted into the post. In fact, it might even be a free kick.
If it is, no score. No score.
Andrew Crowell will go back and take it. But exciting football by the Fremantle Dockers. We haven't seen much of that this afternoon, but a rare takeaway out of the centre square. Crowell, well, pushed into the post quite crudely there. Long ball taken by Crode, pumps it back forward with courage. Tyson Edwards put his body on the line, was taken high and will get the free kick. Clark comes off the ground. Brett Biglands straight onto it. Celebrate his 25th birthday on Wednesday, the ruckman from the Adelaide Crows. Tyson Edwards deep in his defensive 50. A long ball. Simmons from behind. Bigland's got hands to it. Farmer's there. Laddams, it'll give to McLeod. Very hard to tackle him. Well, that was unfortunate for Anthony Grover. It came off his boot, spilled over the line on the full, and Andrew McLeod gets a second chance.
Look on the bright side, he gets a stat.
He does indeed. A chance for Adelaide through
Well
Johnson, lays it off to Biglands. Runs away off the side of his boot. Well, maybe that wasn't off the side of the boot intentionally anyway. Smart, couldn't take it. Pavlich to Coops. The bounce is crucial. Trapping it well was McGregor. 65 out, spots up Bode. He has to wait a long time. At the back, through the hands there of McFarlane. Looking for the boundary line. Paddles it in that direction. John Cock keeps it in. Rashudo kicks the goal. He's got two.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza. Beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the Perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
Deciding on a roof for your new home can weigh you down because tiled roofs aren't all they're cracked up to be. Stratco High Fashion Roofing in Colorbond lifts the weight off your roof and allows greater design flexibility and economy. Stratco Roofing. Insist on it.
55 points the margin at Subiaco. Rashudo gets his second. Longmuir tried to take it from the ruck. Ridden into the ground was Pavlich. And he'll take the free kick. His 17th possession coming up. Level with Troy Cook on 17. McGregor and McLeod lead the game with 19 for Adelaide. Towards the 50. Crode sockers it away from McGregor. Edwards comes in. Crode picks it up. Tries to break the McGregor tackle. Handball went looking for Hazelby. Floats out of bounds. So Fremantle have added 4 goals this quarter to Adelaide's 3. And the 60-point half-time margin currently stands at 55. Throw in. Bigland's tried to take it from the ruck. It's pinched by Coops. Did well. Juggled it. Put it into the path of Farmer. Here's Farmer. Here's Farmer still. Drops the ball. Did everything but kick it. So he gives it to Hazelby and he kicks it. 2 goals to Hazelby in this quarter. And the Fremantle Dockers give their crowd something to cheer about in this second half.
Yeah, it wasn't copybook, was it? But the ball, talking about keeping the ball alive, Jace, as you did initially, I mean, Farmer, at least he's running with the footy. He's causing the Adelaide defenders to think and actually make some commitment towards him. So he's dragging a few Adelaide defenders towards him, which is good play. Obviously, he goes to Hazelby in the end, and no one really picking up Hazelby because all the focus has been on Farmer. So that's what they just need to do and try and peg away, try and win the quarter. And they're coming home with a breeze, and funny things have happened.
5 goals for 3 this term in favour of the Dockers. Longmuir got the tap. Laddams taken down. Ferocious tackling from Fremantle. Just found that spark they were looking for in the first half. They've got a little bit of that in the third term. Just walking a bit taller. The crowd getting involved. And a much more competitive performance in the third term from Fremantle. Flying over the top was Coops. Only as far as Laddams. Kick towards Bode. He attacks it. Worked it towards Biglands. Picked up by Doughty. Dowdy goes inside 50. Stevens attacks it for Adelaide. On the bounce. It's picked up by Coops. He can come wide. Longmuir's got some space. The ball, will it sit for him? It does. He's going to get run down by John Cock. Just got the handball away. Cook. Ball didn't sit for him. Seagate. Past Cook. Picked up by Laddams. To Johnson.
Well done.
In tight space. Goes back to Laddams. To McLeod from 60 metres out. Chips it up towards the square. Rashudo there. It bounces in front of him. At the back, Burton tries to run onto it. Grover grabs it for Fremantle and kicks towards defensive 50. Stengline and John Cock spoil each other. At ground level, chance now for John Cock. Steps around Seagate. 35 metres out, pulls the kick and misses everything. Except the behind post.
Just shaved it on the way through. Graham Johncock, an exciting revelation for the Crows. Dion Woods. That ball is floating so dangerously close to the boundary line, and Biglands took the mark. Didn't matter. It was over. And the big man plays on. Hoists it to the top of the square. Grover with the spoil. Smart. Can he kick a goal? Hits the post, working off the tightest of angles. It was a very clever kick. Just couldn't quite get enough on it.
That go through the goal umpire's legs. Yep, we sure did.
It's an inside wood goal.
He nutmegged him.
Poor defensive play from Fremantle. That ball was coming, floating through the air. Someone needed to get a fist on that ball. No one did. Rolled towards the goals.
This ball hangs in the breeze again. Stevens at the front. Got first hands to it. McManus. Biglands is doing very well. Once again, hoists it to full forward. Running back with a flight. Too much carry for Burton. Still at ground level. He's got it. Somehow. Looking for Bode. Might have been held without the football. Seagate run down. Brilliantly done. Comes to Walker. McFarlane streams out of defence. He's got Cunningham on the wing. Finds it now on the bounce. Slaps it in the direction of McManus. He's got Cook further afield. Delivers by hand. Troy Cook can go all the way. Farmer in support. Has one bounce. Runs to 50. Ball bending back. Just couldn't quite drag it from right to left enough. The minor score, the crowd getting to their feet. The Dockers within 49 points. 22 minutes gone in this third term.
To the outer side for the Adelaide Crows. Doughty got hands to it. Kept it alive. Around the wing. Biglands. Inside 50s this quarter. 15-9 in favour of the Crows, but Fremantle have the better of the going. He's lost both his shin guards. Cunningham to Pavlich from right on 50. Hammers it through for a goal. Two to Pavlich.
Well, they get their hands on the ball, aren't they? It looked like it was a good release from Ben Hart initially when he played on from full back, but there was a contest on the outer. Biglands, have a look at these shin guards going everywhere.
Unguarded shins.
Oh, he's just putting them back in as we speak. Most of the ruckmen nowadays have the shin guards. Obviously, when they're going hammer and tong, opposing one another in the ruck, they like to protect that area. Good finish from Pavlich. He's a beautiful kick. And just getting his hands on the ball this third quarter. No doubt the reason why Fremantle are beating Adelaide in terms of this third quarter score.
Playing efficient football. They've gone inside 50 10 times this quarter for 6 goals, 2. It's a good return from the Dockers. Johnson gets it out of the middle, only as far as Walker. By hand to Bell. Flips one back over the top to Walker.
Good play.
Steps around Laddams. Tries to get past John Cock. Goes looking for Farmer. Rashudo went up, brought it to ground. Bell tumbles across the screen. McPhee in there for Fremantle. Ball still alive. Bell goes again. Rashudo ducked ahead. Top one from McManus. And we will have a bounce.
He's a tough hombre, Mark Rashudo. These conditions tailor-made for him. The finals may be a week away, but he's giving not an inch.
Would have been the big brother from hell, wouldn't he, Mark Rashudo?
Stood his ground beautifully, didn't he?
The Dockers at right half forward. One, though, on that occasion by Stengline. The kick. Biglands got a hand in it. Cook run down from behind. Watch out, Mark Rashudo's in the vicinity. Norris is sweeping. Hand pass is good to McPhee. Cunningham. A hand in it by Doughty. Cunningham gets a second chance. Simmons in support. McPhee. The hand pass misses the mark. McManus. McPhee. It's practical Dockers stuff here at Subiaco. Farmer tries to keep it in. He'll get a free kick. Held without the football. Jeff Farmer on almost the tightest of angles.
Have a pig, he got nothing to lose.
If anyone can kick a goal, it's this man. Jeffrey Farmer, the wizard. Unable to weave his magic on that occasion. Might have given Fremantle just that impetus heading towards three-quarter time. As it is, it's a 42-point margin. Trent Crode off the ground. It's a 42-point margin. Trent Crode off the ground. Ben Hart with the football. Not under siege just yet, the Adelaide Crows, but certainly facing more spirited opposition. A high ball in the direction of Rhett Biglands. Simmons with him. At the spill, taken brilliantly by Rashudo, lays it off to Johnson. Open forward line now for the Crows. Dangerous time for the Dockers at the back. McFarlane with poise opposed to Mark Stevens. Takes the resultant mark.
He's been good this quarter, McFarlane. Chips it wide to Farmer. Can go over the top to Walker. Decides to go further afield. And picks out Bassett. Kick was intended for Seagate. Bassett intercepts, has a bounce. Will go back inside 50. Burton his target. Woods did well, got it to ground. Goes again, does Dion Woods, and Bassett sockers to the line. 42 points the margin. It was 60 at half-time. Fremantle have added 6 goals in this term to Adelaide's 3. And with just over 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, Adelaide will go forward again through Johnson. Cook, best tackler in the competition this year. Simmons lays some body on Gallagher. Cook goes again. Can't get effective disposal. Johncock in there as well. Scrappy at the moment. Norris and Johnson push and shove. And we'll have a bounce just inside the forward 50 for the Crows.
It's pretty good, Simmons
on Gallagher. Johnson roved it off the hands of the pack. Flying snap at goal from Kane Johnson. Hits the post. Adelaide's third poster for the afternoon.
He's roved the last couple, Johnson, off Troy. Simmons, good work. He just understands where to position himself. He's smart. He understands you can still be dominant in the clearances when your ruckman isn't winning the taps.
Speaking of dominant in the clearances, 40 to 52 is the 40 to 22 rather is the tally in favour of Adelaide. Woods, another thumping kick. This one goes inside the centre square. Simmons takes the mark, played on. The play was on as well from Cunningham.
It was good play by Hewitt. He knew Cunningham was on and just held him up, but the umpires swallowed his whistle there.
Benefit of the doubt to Troy Simmons. Or Hewitt, whichever way you look at it. Chips towards Cook. He goes inside 50. Goes to the back. Hazelby. There was a hand on it. Adelaide players call for holding the ball. Again, more benefit, more doubt. We'll have a bounce inside 50 for the Dockers.
And it's going into the forward half a lot quicker, isn't it? There's been a fair bit of run. Troy Cook has run pretty well this quarter. And just McFarlane, just gaining 10 metres towards his goal has been important for Freo as well.
Longmuir the tap. Shark by Rashudo. It has shoved Cunningham away. It was taken down in the Farmer tackle. Things just getting a bit willing and spirited here at the moment. Cunningham involved again. Fremantle flying the flag in the third term. There's Rashudo. There's the shove off, the fend off. Farmer got him high. Prior opportunity. Lots of options there. McPhee bumps Stengline off it. It comes to Smart. He thumps it outside defensive 50. And Biglands takes the mark. Could be some overlap play here. It comes to Rashudo. Rashudo towards half forward. Hewitt against Simmons. It sits nicely for Hewitt. Wheels around. Straightens up. Goes inside 50 looking for Burton. And finds him. Umpires paid the mark.
And in the normal course of events, you'd actually, if Adelaide are going to take a mark inside 50, this is where you'd like them to kick it. But the way they've been having their set shots at goal today, you wouldn't write Burton off nailing this one.
We've seen Clark kick one from here. McGregor kick one from here. Burton has kicked 3. And 48 metres out. Across the face of goal. And misses the lot. 3 goals straight to Brett Burton. Doesn't block the copybook on the bright side. But the resultant free kick goes to Lee Brown.
He runs off the mark now. And then runs his full measure. Kicks a long ball. Bassett surrounded by Dockers. Off hands. Comes to Gallagher. Smothered by Bell. Off to Hazelby. Perhaps the last chance for Fremantle. Smart in best position. McPhee lost sight of the football.
Terrible kick, though. It had to be a lot lower and harder kick than that.
Kicking wide is Smart to McLeod. Laddams is on further down the ground. 20 seconds remaining in this third term. It's a 43-point margin in favour of the Crows. McLeod has to run with the flight of the football. He has it about 75 metres out from goal, and the Crows will need a mark here to get a late goal. Pops it to full forward. Backwell set. McFarlane got hands to it. Burton, 1 second on the clock. He kicks on the siren. It matters naught because we'll see if it's paid as a score. I don't think it is. So three-quarter time at Subiaco Oval, and the Crows in a match-winning position. They lead 15-13, 103, 43 points ahead of Fremantle, 9-6-60.
The critics are hailing Band of Brothers as the new benchmark in television.
Hooray! Magnificent, awe-inspiring and shatteringly emotional.
Harrowing will leave your heart pumping.
A triumph never to be forgotten. Let's go! Get out of there!
The award-winning special event series premiere.
What do you think I should write to these parents, Dick? You tell them what you always tell them. Their sons died as heroes.
Band of Brothers, 8:30 Monday on 9.
Which lasts longer? Duracell Alkaline or Eveready Super Heavy Duty Batteries? While Duracell Alkaline keeps on running, Eveready Super Heavy Duty just can't keep up. Uh-oh. No matter what they try, it won't help. With up to 3 times more power, Duracell always beats Eveready Super Heavy Duty.
The pilot training was really satisfying for me, particularly not having done anything like that before. As the weeks progressed, though, we could see the improvements in ourselves and particularly in my own personal development. And by the end, I was really proud of my efforts.
Statewide. Well, my employer puts in 9% now, but I'm putting a little bit extra in myself while I'm young.
I'm self-employed, and Statewide helped me to get great insurance to protect my income and my family.
Well, we got a really good deal on our home loan through Statewide.
Oh, I like their low admin fees. Only $1.20 a week. Well, I just thought I could trust Statewide. They help me understand super.
Statewide Superannuation Trust. Your key to super you can trust.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza. Beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
Finger on it, right time to roll to me.
Holding Sophia gives you room to move.
Tuesday, a convicted man's desperate plea for justice. Suspicion cast on the one thing CSI trust. How could they have condemned an innocent man when all the evidence says guilty? One thing's for sure. He lied. There's a secret he'll die to protect, but will it lead him to the slaughter?
You're facing the death penalty. Why are you lying?
Or is he playing CSI for suckers?
You tell me.
CSI, 8:30 Tuesday on 9.
9:30 Tuesday.
First, I'm going to lock you up.
He's tough.
Then I'm going to implicate your wife.
Uncompromising.
This guy's unbelievable.
And getting under their skin.
Last time I looked, it was us against them, not us against us.
But when he tries to make amends,
Maybe he is human after all.
he crosses the line with one of them.
What?
Their new commander is not who he appears to be.
If that's your idea of teamwork, you can shove it.
The all-new Stingers returns 9:30 Tuesday on 9.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Holden, Pizza Hut and the Navy, Army and Air Force.
Three-quarter time here at Subiaco, and it's the Adelaide Crows, 15-13, 103. Leading the Dockers 9-6-60, the margin 43 points. It was 60 points at half-time, but the Dockers in that term slammed on 6 goals, 3 to 3 goals for Into the Breeze. A good performance from them and something for their fans to really enjoy this afternoon. As Chris Connolly addresses the troops, Jason Norris will run out for his last half an hour of football. Fremantle's last half an hour of the season. Gary Ayres, well, he's got bigger fish to fry. And they got the job done, set it up nice and early in this game. He'd still be wanting them to run it out and finish this last quarter strongly, though, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a good sign, wasn't it? They generated a lot more run off the half-back line. And I thought, you know, Pavlich in the middle was pretty important. McFarlane, I think, was good as well. And Simmons, a guy that's been down and been in great form for Fremantle this year, he came into the game for them.
Hayes will be kicking a goal there. It was just their style of play. It was much more attractive to watch, much more effective as well. They went straight up the middle, played good direct football in that turn.
And went into the forward line a lot quicker than the first half, didn't it?
We take a look at the match stats. Adelaide still dominant in centre breaks and inside 50s, 54 to 27, the inside 50 count. The clearance is now 41 to 22 in favour of the Adelaide Crows. Incidentally, in that third term, inside 50, still in Adelaide's way, 18 to 12. But 12 inside 50s from the Dockers. They scored on 9 occasions, so they were nice and efficient. Let's head boundary side now. Here's Michael Thompson.
I've got the assistant coach of the Adelaide Crows, Peter Curran, with me. Peter, 43-point lead. You've still got to finish this game strongly.
Yeah, certainly. We've just got to gain some ascendancy back after they worked pretty hard to try and get some momentum. And, yeah, we've got to try and win this quarter with a bit of ascendancy.
You've got a big finals campaign coming up. Do you look after some players in this last quarter?
No, there's a few blokes playing for spots.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks.
It's as simple as that. A few peripheral players would be looking ahead to next week and hoping they can retain their spot.
Here's Jason Norris in his last quarter of footy for Fremantle.
The likes of Scott Welsh to return for Adelaide. And 1 or 2 others floating about in the mix as well. As we start the final term here at Subiaco, the margin 43 points in favour of the Adelaide Crows. Biglands tries to hack it out of the air. Simmons flicked it to Cook. Gave it to Cunningham. He goes inside 50, McManus. Can't quite get there on the full. Bouncing ball, can't keep it alive. Throw in. Sean McManus, he's had 17 possessions. Cook leads the way for Fremantle, he's had 20. Pavlich 19. McManus 17, Hazelby 14. For Adelaide, 22 to McLeod, 21 each to Johnson and Laddams, 19 to Ken McGregor, 18 Rasciuto. Here's McLeod, possession number 23 for the superstar. Around the outer wing, Pavlich stands tall underneath it and takes the mark. Another good performance from him. 20 touches today. 11 handball receives. Plenty of drive across half-back. Inside 50. Longmuir. Edwards. McManus in there as well. Bassett over the top. Will have a bounce about 40 metres out from Fremantle's goal. Just over 21,500 fans here this afternoon.
Not a bad effort considering the conditions.
Biglands goes up. Tap is sharked by Hazelby. McGregor, little handball to Massey. Massey towards the wing. Brown has worked Hewitt underneath the football. It's picked off by Coops at the back. Twist and turns. Eludes Laddams. Kicks across the ground. It's a 2-on-1. John Cox got to go for Adelaide, but the mark taken by Cunningham.
He's got Walker over the top. On the wing, James Walker looks for Pavlich just outside the 50. Matthew Pavlich with a bruise at his back. Decides instead to chip it in short, looking for Hazelby. Too much on it. Edwards cleans up for the Crows. The kick, it's okay. Onto the wing. Kane Johnson kicks a very high ball inside the centre square. Maybe a good sense of humour from Kane Johnson.
Good mark, wasn't it?
But John Cox stood under it and took the mark. Now the Crows have some numbers. Gallagher out wide with support. Hard up against the boundary line. Kicks to an open forward line. Rasciuto charging. Watch out, Jason Norris. Ball spills free. Comes to Coops. Hand pass accommodates Cook. In turn to Dion Woods. Through centre half back. Delivers to half forward. It's good. Justin Longmuir. Hit on the chest.
Hazelby's on. Oh,
terrible kick. Medhurst in the end works Crowell off the football. He's got a man inside. Instead goes for Simmons, who wasn't quite prepared for it. The target was missed in any effect. Crowell kicks long, put down after he disposed of the football. And Paul Medhurst paying the price. Mark Stevens lobs it to full forward. No mark taken. Taken by Pavlich. Well done across to Coops. Under pressure, Grover almost holding the football, and that's exactly how the umpire has deemed it. Took a long time, did Anthony Grover.
Just trying to overpossess and just trying to do a little bit too much. I reckon this is how Adelaide started the game. Their one-on-one contest and their attack on the man was pretty good. That technique is fantastic from a tackling point of view from young Laddams. Just went down low, very easy to slip above the head when you're running at an opponent, but he stayed low and concentrated on the hips. But they've been good in that area, one-on-one Adelaide all day.
Very good afternoon. 21 possessions so far for Chris Laddams, taken at number 5 in the pre-season draft of 2001. Kick on goal from 45 metres. Left foot kick, it's tight. He's just missed to the right-hand side. 44 points the margin. The Crows have this game safe, you suspect. 4 minutes gone in this final term. The Dockers, though, are kicking with a very strong breeze.
Woods with a kick in. Goes towards Coops, got a hand to it. Flicks it back, tries to keep it alive. Hewitt attacks the ball. Tried to palm it out to Stevens. Cook got in the way. Cunningham gave it straight to Hewitt. Hewitt flips one over the top. Ball still alive. It comes to Bell. Longmuir against Smart. Smart works to the front. But a smart play from Longmuir. Wins the football at the back of the contest. Hazelby left it. McGregor gathered it and gave it to Crowell. Ooh. And Crowell met heavily by Farmer. It's not his spot there, Andrew Crowell. It's twice he's been put down after he's kicked it in the space of a couple of minutes, and this time he isn't getting up quite so quickly.
Yeah, you can't jump in the air like that. It was a little bit late, but probably in the act of kicking, but the jump from Farmer was the reason for the penalty.
So half forward, clears the Burton Woods contest. Crode comes through. Cook tried to win it at ground level. Takes Laddams down in the tackle. Little flip out from Hazelby. And a free kick paid to Bell for over the shoulder. His 14th touch. Roughly half his usual output for 2002.
Here's a go.
Woods can switch it out to Pavlich. He's got an absolute paddock. Has a bounce, draws a player, flips it over the top. Cunningham had all the time in the world. All he had to do was gather it, and he didn't. It comes away. Gallagher. And the Crows will counter-attack. This one would really sting. Johnson, inside 50, looking for Rashudo. Tries to turn Grover inside out. Has to gather the football. Does. Now loses it. Throw in.
It was an easy counter-attack for Adelaide down the other way. Just all Ben Cunningham had to do was just grab that ball cleanly, and McManus was on further down the ground. But because they've all run up Fremantle as a unit, the space was behind in Adelaide's forward half.
Throw in. Simmons got a tap down towards Bell. He gathers, wants to get back onto his left side. Running out of options, Peter Bell. In the end, just has to hoist it straight up in the air. There'll be no mark paid. Didn't go 15. It was a spectacular effort nonetheless from Coops. Norrish, he'll get a big cheer every time he goes near it in the final quarter of his career. Handball missed its target. Massey and Cook collided. It comes to Gallagher. To Burton. From 55 out, Burton. Wants to step inside 50. Had a bounce. Cook runs him down. Dished it off to Rashudo. From 45, Rashudo turns, snaps, and misses. 2 goals, 1 to Mark Rashudo this afternoon. And the margin out to 45 points now in favour of the Adelaide Crows, who've played almost 7 minutes in the final term.
Dion Woods has the kick-in duties, counting down to Fremantle's final moments of season 2002. Looks for Pavlich, who's been very good this afternoon from behind. Got a hand on it. Stevens at ground level. Brilliantly done by Mark Stevens. Gives it to McLeod. 45 metres out. Sprays it. Misses to the right. Signs that the Adelaide Crows are really starting to get their best football in motion at the most important time of the year. Dion Woods for a second time inside 30 seconds.
Not much movement. He's going to be forced to go long. When there's no movement in the zone, you've got to go long.
Justin Longmuir is the target. The ball just swings away from him. Going to ground, Hewitt. Now he's got a problem over the football. How will the umpire deem that? That's holding the football. A little unfortunate, but once he went to ground, it was always going to be a problem. Half-back, Justin Longmuir has the football. Looks for Brown over his head. Slaps it towards the line. Still he can't pick it up. Ordinary football by the Dockers. McGregor cleans up, gets it to Rashido, feeds it out to Johnson. Crunched, he was pushed in the back though.
He didn't want to kick it long then, Johnson. It was good body weight and pressure by McPhee, just a little bit high, but he didn't want to release it long, Johnson, because I think it was Crow just drifting back loose in defence.
Johnson looks for Stevens and finds that player 55 metres out from goal.
Yeah, Crow's just positioned himself just in front of the square.
No fluent football in this final quarter so far. The Crows have had a couple of chances to convert. The kick with penetration to the square. Grover concedes a behind to Adelaide. 32 scoring shots to 15 this afternoon, and the lead is 47 points. 9 minutes gone, final term.
Pavlich with the kick in to Cook. Possession 23 for Troy Cook. He and Pavlich have 23 apiece for the Dockers. High kick towards Brown against Johnson. Off the hands of Kane Johnson and out of bounds. Johnson leads the game with 25 touches. McLeod's had 24. 22 each to Laddams and McGregor. As I mentioned, Cook and Pavlich have 23 each for the Dockers. 17 to Coops, 17 to McManus, 15 to Peter Bell. Smart at the back of the ruck contest took possession. Handball up in the air. Longmuir grabbed it. He's tackled by Gallagher and Stenglein. Longmuir goes again in there and will have a bounce about 65 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
Just watch Biglands here with this ball up. He's one-on-one duel. He'll try and get into Simmons and just stop his run at the footy.
Longmuir, third man up, took possession. Gave it down to Hazelby. Hazelby goes looking for McManus, but he's playing behind on that occasion. Edwards had front position, used it to his advantage. Dished it off to the run of Nigel Smart. Smart goes towards the pocket. Burton and McLeod there. Gathered by McLeod. Stands 45 metres out, squares it up. Looking for Gallagher, got one hand to it, couldn't bring it down. Umpire said he was being held. In fact, it's going the other way. It's going to the Dockers. Norrish to Coops, to Cook. He fumbles as well. Has to go back and get it. Had a man in support out wide. Walker, they're doing it the hard way. They're going to turn it over. Gallagher to John Cock. Steps inside Cook. Chips inside 50, looking for Johnson. Picked off by Grover. He comes away from defensive 50. Straight up the middle and finds McPhee. Adjacent to the centre circle, Adam McPhee. His 10th touch for the afternoon. That's his average in 2002. Goes towards forward 50. Read off the hands well by McManus. It was an open goal square, but he kicked it into the side of Ben Hart. Smart gets rid of Farmer. Bell, inboard to Cook. Cook straightens up, goes to Simmons right on 50. He plays on, runs to 45. Troy Simmons sets sail for home and drives it through. Troy Simmons.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the Perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night?
Let's have the Pizza Hut guy.
Great.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this, but what was totally unexpected, free taxis to and from home or work when you leave your car at an Amy Customer Service Centre.
Fantastic debut season for Troy Simmons. Brett Biglands has been very good for the Adelaide Crows this afternoon. 41 points the margin. Out of the centre square, the Crows yet again get a takeaway through McLeod. The half forward, trying to break free was Laddams. Got it to Massey, took too long.
Yeah, just good persistence there by Coops. Looked like Laddams was going to get away from him, but he stuck to his task, Coopsy.
Who finds Pavlich just forward of centre wing. Kicking with the breeze in this final quarter. McPhee presents himself. Bounces off his chest. Going to ground was McGregor. Ball jars free. We've got a throw in. And perhaps the sun.
I reckon, well, give him the benefit of the doubt.
The sun is a problem at Subiaco in the dying stages of matches, and will perhaps use that as an excuse on that occasion. On the restart, McFarlane to the run of Seagate, 45 metres out, bends it back. Not far enough. And the Fremantle Dockers, with a chance to score consecutive goals, just slides across the face as Troy Cook makes his way off the ground to be replaced by Ben Cunningham.
Kick in from Ben Hart to Bode. Back to Hart. They try to run it out. It's a wide-open defensive 50 for Adelaide. He goes by hand to Smart. Around the outer side. Beautiful kick towards Hewitt. Just pitched in front of him. Bigland's there to tidy it up. Gave it to Rasciuto. He dribbles one around the boundary line, out in front of Burton, who takes it over the line for a throw-in with less than 10 minutes remaining in Fremantle's season. As Paul Medhurst does some stretches on the boundary line.
He's had a good first year, though, young Medhurst, hasn't he?
Sensational. He's played 20 games and kicked 35 goals, 20, after kicking 70 goals in the Waffle last season.
The thing about Adelaide is they don't appear to have too many weaknesses, do they? They seem to do everything, you know, pretty well without being completely outstanding. The centre bounce structure is fantastic, but little things like they're bringing the ball in from defence from a point kick in, they've just killed Fremantle in that area today.
Coops wrapped up by McLeod.
I guess these final 10 minutes, Ben, more nervousness in the Adelaide Crows box than the Dockers box, because of course there's a lot of football perhaps to come for the Crows, and injuries would be the last thing they'd want.
Simmons goes up, wins the tap into the path of Norrish. Gallagher, quickest turning circle, gave it to McLeod, to Edwards, inside 50. Burton attacks it, did well on the bounce. Gave it to Gallagher, who slipped as he kicked it. It's bouncing right to the line. Croat stands tall in the defensive goal square. Dishes off to Bell. Chips across the face of goal. Here's Lee Brown. The anvil. Tried to put the hammer down, but couldn't. The ball was out of bounds.
So Mark Stevens there, just competing in the forward line. Would have played with Wayne Carey at the Kangaroos in North Melbourne a few years ago, and
as did Scotty Welsh, as did Evan Hewitt.
Yeah, I'm sure they're looking forward to next year. I know they've got a bit of work for this year, but I'm sure Mr. Carey will be watching with glee. Great goal.
Laddams, again we see from the clearance. Adelaide work an effective disposal, and Laddams converts. He's got his first.
Sophia gives you room to move.
A lot to like about the Adelaide Crows' performance this afternoon. Gary Ayres, a contented man here at Subiaco this afternoon. McLeod, beautiful give to Edwards, needs support. McLeod is there, across to Bode, running hard the Crows. Speculative hand pass. It's okay. Comes back to Bode from Hewitt towards full forward. Burton at the spill, slides it through, and the Crows keep charging on. Burton's got 4.
They say if you put butter on a cat's paw, he'll always come home. Well, this cat's found his way home from Spain.
Hi, this is Martin Catalini, and I'm back to the Pure Milk 36ers, and I can't wait.
A season ticket is the best way to see the NBL champions in every game at the lowest price from the best seats in the house. We'll be back bigger and better than ever. Not that size is everything, you know.
It's always you little guys that say that.
Adelaide Pure Milk 36ers, NBL champs. Season tickets on sale now. 8444 6444.
So the Adelaide Crows just finishing off the job here. Just over 8 minutes remaining. The margin back out to 52 points. It's Fremantle through McManus. Will go inside the 50. Smart and Longmuir. Socket off the ground by Bassett. Dribbles towards the line. They all went to stop. Medhurst with the outside of the boot, if you don't mind, keeps it alive. McGregor to the line was taken high.
Beckham-like, wasn't it, from Medhurst?
He's got the hair, he's got the boots, he's got it all going on. Paul Medhurst. McGregor. Short to Ben Hart. Back to McGregor. And he marks defensive 45. Tries to squeeze it around the boundary line, but as we've seen a number of times this afternoon, the swirling breeze just grabs a hold of it and pushes it wide. McManus with the resultant free kick. Called to play on. Wants to step inside. Stenglein and does. Goes by hand to McFarlane. 55 metres out. Standing start. Kicks towards the goal square. Edwards and Hazelby. Hazelby at the back. Impossible angle. Couldn't get boot to ball. Here's Farmer. Nothing's impossible for him. Squares it up. Seagate. Bounce favoured Gallagher and he did well. Here's McLeod. Bursting away from half back. Just glides across the turf and delivers lace out to Brett Burton on centre wing. The long lead comes from Kane Johnson. High ball. Grover hassles him off it. Here's McLeod again. Just followed up magnificently. Sets up the play. Goes inside 50 to Johncock. He's got Johnson inside by hand. Takes on Walker by foot instead. Was optimistic at best, really, and he missed the lot.
And we recognise McLeod is one of the most skillful players, but his work rate then, he received the ball on deep in the back line from Adelaide. He followed up. He actually sprinted about probably 70 metres to get front and centre at the next contest, and got the ball again, and just a nice little cut-out pass to Johncock.
Clark and Longmuir. Johnson going nowhere. And we'll have a bounce about 20 metres out from the Adelaide goal. 6.5 minutes remaining. The margin 52 points. Andrew McLeod up to 31 possessions. Burton gets the tap. Stevens hoists it high in the air. They'll come from all sides. Burton flies. It spills to Bode. Thought about getting onto his right. Dished it to Gallagher. Gallagher goes backwards to Laddams. He's taken in a tackle. Edwards taken in a tackle. Brilliant tackle from McManus. Ball still alive. Flying snap from Matthew Bode is out of bounds on the full. And the Dockers through Dion Woods with the relieving free kick as Coops comes to the boundary line to be replaced by Troy Cook.
Stephen Coops finishes the day with 19 disposals. The kick in. McFarlane forced to spoil. Crode slaps it forward. McFarlane accelerates, has a bounce. Metres in the clear. Didn't quite come back to him the second time. McManus chips it short, and Pavlich takes the mark. Too far out to score. Centering kick. Peter Bell. The ball doesn't sit up for him. In support is Cunningham. Back to Bell. At the point of the square. Left foot kick. And Troy Cook takes the mark. And will shoot perhaps from about 50 with this breeze. He might just be able to make the distance.
He's kicked 6 goals, 13 for the season, Troy Cook.
Yeah, his work rate's been pretty good today. He's battled hard. What's he up to? 24 possessions. So good solid game from him.
From right on the 50, Troy Cook brings it back magnificently. Fantastic goal to Troy Cook.
Today's world needs the long life power of Duracell. Long life means more flashes. Long life means more to enjoy. And now, Duracell and the Footy Show are giving you the chance to win 2 10-year long life memberships of your favourite footy club. Call the number on your screen now to register. Lines close midnight Monday, and winners will be announced on Thursday's Footy Show. Duracell, the long life battery that lasts and lasts and lasts.
Troy Cook, 2 goals, 25 disposals. The margin back to 46 points. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Clark gets the tap. Here's McLeod again. Well, he's averaging 31 touches in his last 4 games against Fremantle. He's now up to 32. Make that 33. He receives from Johncock and then gives it to Bode. Bode runs to 45 metres out and tugs the kick, missing to the right-hand side. Matthew Bode, 17 possessions, 1 goal, 1 for him this afternoon. Again, Dion Woods with the kick-out duties. They mill towards the member side.
They have to go long to Longmuir, I think, from Brown.
And that's what he does. It's a 2-on-2. Longmuir got hands to it. Bode. Get it down to Burton. Trying to evade Cunningham. Can't do so. Handball stays in. Here's Norrish. Gathers. Chips to McPhee. Farmer runs on. McPhee squares it up to Pavlich and he marks 55 metres out. Should be a handy centre-half forward, Matthew Pavlich. Then again, he'd be a handy centre-half back.
Go for home.
60 metres out. McPhee and Medhurst in the pocket got in each other's way. It was like second and third slip, diving across. And in the end, that one gets through the slip cordon and goes for 4.
The bowler's not happy.
Throw in. Simmons at the back. McGregor took possession at the front of the contest. Hacks it outside defensive 50. McManus will put it back inside for Fremantle. 21st touch for Sean McManus.
Just pop it to the top of the square.
The lead
Passes on.
comes from Pavlich. Smart got across. Did just enough to bring it to ground.
Too high. It's a free.
Umpire has paid a free kick.
Yeah, the second umpire who was in that vicinity's called that. Good decision. He copped it high. That's what the 3 umpires are there for, to help each other out. So it was good teamwork from them.
So it'll come back to Matthew Pavlich. He's had a wonderful year. He's played every game, averaged 18 possessions, 6 marks. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 today, for a season tally of 10 goals, 9. And after finishing 4th in their best and fairest last year, he'll surely be prominent again this season.
Not many blokes can go from centre-half back to ruck row in one match, can they? Very, very versatile, Pavlich. They reckon long-term he'll play on ball.
Could play just about any position on the ground, quite literally. 48 metres out. Kick on its way. It started left. Crowd are trying to cheer at home, but no dice. 2 goals, 2 to Matthew Pavlich this afternoon. The margin 46 points as Tyson Edwards does the kicking in duties for Adelaide.
Finds Hart inside the defensive 50. Ben Hart with no one on the mark, just ambles out of defence. Has a bounce, drives it long. Justin Longmuir was held by an arm, will get a free kick. Longmuir. Just the 1 goal this afternoon. Long ball. Juggling mark taken by McFarlane. Also a revelation this season, coming from Hawthorn. Overcoming some pre-season injury problems. Luke McFarlane showing his versatility throughout the season. Kicks to full forward. Plenty of carry on it. Here's an easy goal. Off a step. Goal to Medhurst. He's got 3.
My great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great night?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
Stevens in the right spot, hooks it around, can he get enough traction on it? The distance is very good. Mark Stevens has kicked the goal.
3 goals to Paul Medhurst. His season tally to 36. Clark and Longmuir. Here's McLeod. Possession 34. Gets it to Nigel Smart. Little chip kick was looking for Shirley. Cook got in to force a contest. Woods at ground level against Smart. Cook and McManus pile in, and we'll have a bounce with 2 minutes 15 remaining on the clock.
And I think that was just an example of, it was a poor kick from Smart initially, but Adelaide as a team have butted up a skill error from one of their teammates. That's a good sign.
Clark and Longmuir wrestle. Clark put it into the path of Edwards nicely. Spiral inside 50. Tough one to mark. Spills off the hands of Hewitt. Walker to Bell. Couple to beat. Did well. To Brown. To Walker. To Cook. Through the middle of Cunningham. Can run onto the bouncing ball. Does so now. Can run all the way. Go to the front edge of the square. Straight up the middle. Not sure where he was intending. There was no lead heading in that direction. But Gallagher got across and cut it off for Adelaide. Swings it wide to the member's side. Edwards takes the mark. 22nd touch for Tyson Edwards. Tries to take on McPhee. Gave it to Bode. Towards half forward. Burton and Woods. Woods held his feet. Comes to the back. Here's Norrish. The handball inside to Woods. Goes into the middle of the ground. Cunningham, and over the back is Pavlich if he can get it to him. Make it a 2-on-2. Pavlich stands tall and gets away from the McLeod tackle. Toe pokes the kick inside 50. Medhurst crowded very well. Came storming through. Towards half forward, Bode. Marks inside the centre square. He's got a man out wide and uses him now. It's Doughty. 60 from home. Chips inboard to McLeod for possession number 35. He's 55 metres out from goal. And this will be his 9th inside 50 for the afternoon. As he goes inboard, looking for Bassett. Dragged down by McManus, who did well, went and got the football. Tries to get it out wide, was looking for McFarlane, but the kick misdirected, picked off by Edwards. Goes to Shirley. Gallagher uses Shirley now, back to Gallagher. Dying seconds of Fremantle's season as Gallagher goes inside 50. And one last chance for the Adelaide Crows through Michael Doughty. The siren will sound. Sometime this afternoon. Gee, they love building the tension and suspense here. There we go. The Adelaide Crows will register their highest ever home and away finish. They finished third. Doughty for some icing on the cake from 48 metres. Doesn't matter, there's plenty of cake already. Game over at Subiaco. And the Adelaide Crows set it up with a blistering opening term. They added 8 goals to 1 in the first quarter to lead by 45 points at the opening change. Their final margin is 40 points. 17-18, 120. Defeated the Fremantle Dockers 12-8-80. The Crows are headed for September. Jason Norrish is headed for retirement. Let's head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
35 possessions for one of the superstars of the competition, Andrew McLeod. Andrew, congratulations. It's always tough coming over here to Subiaco.
Oh, yeah, look, it's always tough over here, especially with the crowd. You hear the noise, but, yeah, look, we just really, needed to win this one after last year's performance in the last round. So, we came here to do a job and we've done it, and we'll go home and take some momentum into next week.
A lot of focus on Port and Brisbane, but the Crows, just the quiet achievers so far this season.
Oh, look, we're happy with that, and, we'll just keep going about our business and, see what happens.
Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you.
So Andrew McLeod rounds out his home and away season with another 35 possession game. He certainly has given the Dockers plenty of a heartbreak over the last couple of years. There's Mark Rasciuto, will lead his side into the finals with their best ever home and away finish, 3rd position. They won 2 premierships in 97, 98. 97 they came from 4th. 98 they came from 5th. Here's Michael Thompson again with retiree Jason Norrish.
One of the original Dockers, Jason Norrish. Jason, congratulations on a great career. How do you feel?
I'm not quite sure yet, Tomo. It's a bit surreal at the moment. I'm just going to have a quiet night and try and let it soak in. And I look back and I'll be pretty happy, I reckon.
An emotional week for you, and you would have liked to have gone out on a win, but still some great memories for what's been a long road for the club.
Oh, it certainly has, and I've enjoyed the whole journey, and I'm just looking forward to going to the games and barracking for the boys in the future, and still being certainly very much a part of the club as a supporter.
Are you going to do a lap of honour? Good luck and congratulations on an outstanding effort.
Good on you, mate. Cheers.
Congratulations to Jason Norrish, whose AFL career finishes after 148 games. He originally started with Claremont, played 20 games for Melbourne in 1993-94, and has gone on to win a best and fairest, be a vice-captain of the club. But in the end, the points go to the Adelaide Crows.
Did you do the banking?
Yeah, doing it now, Dad.
This news break is brought to you by Bank SA Business Banking Online.
Coming up on Adelaide's National 9 News, we'll have the full story of that abduction south of Darwin. 2 female German tourists were forced into bushes and then handcuffed to a tree by a man armed with a handgun. Also tonight, the Star City Casino will step up its security after a man was spotted in the building with a rifle. 3 youths were lucky to escape injury after flipping their car at Prospect this morning. England and France have marked the 5th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana, and Wayne and Sally Carey have flown out for an overseas holiday.
I'm Lynn Arnold of World Vision with an urgent appeal to all Australians. By the end of September, we need 10,000 sponsors to help 10,000 of the world's poorest children.
The situation for children here is very bad. For many, the nearest clean drinking water is miles away, and drinking contaminated water means risking life-threatening disease. 1 in 5 children here won't live to see their 5th birthday. Rose had to walk 6 kilometers twice a day to fetch safe drinking water before she was sponsored by Dennis and Maureen George. Now, World Vision has sunk a well in Rose's village, providing clean water for her community. Rose is now determined to become a teacher. There are many more children like Rose who urgently need your help.
10,000 sponsors for 10,000 children by the end of September. If you've ever thought about sponsoring a child, then please do it today. Visit our website or call 13 32 40 now.
With hay fever, it's easy to lose your sense of proportion. You can treat the symptoms you can see, like sneezing, a runny nose, and puffy eyes. But what about that groggy, blocked-up feeling in your head, the one only you can feel? That's where Beckinase can help. Because Beckinase hay fever not only treats the symptoms you can see, but helps clear your head as well. Beckinase hay fever, cutting hay fever down to size.
With Bunnings Warehouse's huge range and lowest prices, choosing something for Dad is child's play. 4-outlet power board, $3.45. Camping chair, just $14.95. 55-litre cooler, $84.95. 6-litre Walpamura interior paint, $39.90. And cordless screwdriver, a bargain at $19.96. We won't be beaten on price. And that's guaranteed. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Hello? Yeah, look, I want to quit smoking.
Sure, well, you've taken the first step. That's great.
Planning ahead is really important.
And I can send you a quick book if you'd like.
Call Quitline on 131848. 131848.
If you love the water and would like to train to be a swimming teacher, you should contact OzSwim. You can make a difference. Think of the satisfaction and leadership of teaching people a skill for life, like swimming.
Call this number or visit ozswim.com.au.
Next week, an A Current Affair exclusive, the Aussie supermodel who's taken the world by storm. And she'll be right here in Adelaide. Megan Gale speaks exclusively with Georgina McGuinness. That's next week on A Current Affair, right after the news.
All new Smallville, Tuesday on 9.
Well, they did the job this afternoon, the Adelaide Crows. They got over the line by 40 points. They led at every change, set it up with an 8-goal-to-1 opening term to lead by 45 points. They extended that to 60 points at half-time, back to 43 at three-quarter time, and in the end cruised to a 40-point victory, 17-18, 120. Too good for Fremantle, 12-8-80. Brett Burton kicked 4 for the Crows, 2 each to McLeod, Rashudo and Johnson. Medhurst 3 for the Dockers, 2 to Pavlich, Hazelby and Cook. In what was a solid performance, a workmanlike performance, probably even a little bit better than that, Ben. We're probably selling the Adelaide Crows a little bit short there. It was an impressive, solid workmanlike performance.
Absolute team performance, and I think going into a finals campaign, obviously they had McLeod being outstanding and Rashudo was his normal hardened self, but they had some lesser lights, and I was impressed with Stevens, Bode. You know, to Fremantle's credit, at least they pegged away in that second half and finished off that half, but in reality, Adelaide had the game won pretty much early in the game.
Well, we saw Gary Ayres at half-time mention that one of the real positives this year of the Adelaide Football Club has been the emergence of their second-tier players, and that is the likes of Bode, Doughty, Laddams, John Cock, etc., 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 and they really have started to come through and play some good, solid, consistent football, which just meshes in beautifully with the superstars, McLeod, Rashudo, Johnson, those sort of players.
Yeah, and I reckon Nigel Smart's playing pretty good footy as well. You know, he's been around for a while. Bassett does a job in the back half for them. Just the clearances, they were absolutely fantastic, and you look mainly at the centre breaks, and you can see today in their performance why they are the #1 centre break team in the competition. Didn't rely on a ruckman winning the taps, it was more the little guys on the ground just understanding where to go.
Well, an emotional day here for the Fremantle Dockers to say farewell to one of their great servants, Jason Norris, as we've mentioned throughout the afternoon, playing his final game, doing a lap of honour in front of the Subiaco crowd to the strains of You'll Never Walk Alone. Nice moment for Jason Norris. Congratulations to him, the 1998 Best and Fairest winner with the Fremantle Dockers. Third on their all-time games list behind Shane Parker and Dale Kickett. And you've had a lot to do with him over the years, Ben, both as a player and a coach.
Yeah, and I reckon one of the reasons why he's got a big smile on his face is because he knows he's put everything into his football in the last 10 years. He couldn't actually get, I don't think, got too much more out of himself. And I think if you can walk away from footy, knowing that you've done everything that you possibly can, that's why you can walk away happy.
Very popular man with the Fremantle crowd and the other Fremantle players as well. So well done to Jason Norris. He has a nice moment there to wrap up his career. But today, the points went to Adelaide. They were too good for Fremantle. 17-18, 120. They defeated the Fremantle Dockers, 12-8-80. The final margin here at Subiaco, 40 points.
Win big bucks with Burjo. There's 25 grand up for grabs. Be watching Burjo's catchphrase weeknights and name the South Australian landmark to win $1,000 cash. Come home to Adelaide's catchiest game show. Burjo's catchphrase, 5:30 weeknights on Channel 9.
Wednesday, a premiere special. The one and only, the legend of Utah.
Wait till my missus finds out that I've had Bert Newton in the car.
Team from the balls, we've uncovered the best moments from a crazy career.
I love you, hang on a sec.
We've found footage that even Bert's forgotten about. Back when TV was a little bit wilder.
I didn't realise that you were here.
See the birth of a legend when Tom Lane hosts The Best of Bert Newton, premiering 8:30 Wednesday on 9.
Dougie, hey, with my great Australian pizza, beef, skillet potatoes and bush spices on the Perfecto base. Great.
So how about a great 90?
Is that the Pizza Hut guy?
Great.
They say if you put butter on a cat's paw, he'll always come home. Well, this cat's found his way home from Spain.
Hi, this is Martin Catalini, and I'm back to the Pure Milk 36ers, and I can't wait.
A season ticket is the best way to see the NBL champions in every game at the lowest price from the best seats in the house. We'll be back bigger and better than ever. Not that size is everything, you know.
It's always you little guys that say that.
Adelaide Pure Milk 36ers, NBL champs. Season tickets on sale now. 8444 6444.
Dust. Pollen. Zyrtec for hay fever and allergies. Starts working in just 20 minutes. Lasts 24 hours. Zyrtec. Starts working in 20 minutes. Lasts 24 hours.
The championships belong to this man in 2002. Australia's #1. The world's #1. The mighty Leighton Hewitt. As the contenders fell by the wayside, the top seed powered his way into the final. Now on video, Wimbledon 2002, the year Leighton Hewitt claimed the crown. Out now in a double video pack, all Hewitt's highlights and the men's final in full. Yours forever at these stores now.
I see a lot of mums concerned about their child's diet, but often it's also mum who isn't getting the right amount of nutrients. Over 65% of mothers don't get the recommended intake of calcium or zinc. Nearly half don't get the right amount of iron or vitamin A, and around 1/3 don't get the recommended intake of vitamin B12, phosphorus and riboflavin. Now, you'll think this doesn't apply to you. The fact is, it probably does. So every day, make sure the food you eat is rich in essential nutrients.
Hey, kids.
I want to be #1. Be the best player of all time.
So you want to be the best in the world?
That's the rhyme.
Find out how. 60 minutes tonight.
You told me to do that, didn't you?
You are a skilled and gifted surgeon.
Not a doctor. I haven't been to medical school.
Homer Wells has spent his entire life helping others.
You imagine you're going to find a more gratifying life?
I was wondering if you could give me a ride.
Now he's leaving everything he knows.
I've never seen the ocean. Are you serious?
In search of a world he longs to discover.
You may have lost him to the world.
Michael Caine in his Oscar-winning role, with Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire and Charlize Theron. The Cider House Rules premieres tonight on 9.
And then there were 5. Coming into today, there were 6 original Fremantle Dockers from their 1995 squad. Jason Norris says goodbye after 148 games. Wonderful moment for him. Not the greatest result, unfortunately, on the scoreboard. A 40-point loss to the Adelaide Crows. But they were just too good today. And one man who led the charge from the front, as always, he finished with 21 possessions and 2 goals, is their skipper, Mark Rasciuto, who's down in the Adelaide rooms with Michael Thompson.
Well, Mark, congratulations, and it must be nice going into a final series with such a good win.
Yeah, well, Freo haven't been easy to beat over here this year. I think Port are the only ones from interstate to beat them, so we knew it was going to be tough. They gave us a bit of a touch-up in the last game here last year, so we made a big effort and got a good win today.
You're an experienced and successful finals player. Just how tough is it going to be next week against Brisbane?
Oh, I don't think it gets much tougher than Brisbane in Brisbane, but we've played all right there in the past, and we know we're going to have to be at our best to beat them, that's for sure. And no, we're looking forward to going up there. It's going to be a short week, so we have a light week on the track, but we're looking to go up there and beat them.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thanks, Mark.
So Mark Rashudo there, 21 possessions and 2 goals. Another good performance from him. Just cruised along today. He's got plenty in reserve for September. While there were 2 other games of round 22 action on around the country this afternoon. The Kangaroos played West Coast at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Carlton faced Essendon at the MCG. If you don't want to know the scores, look away now. So Adelaide doing their final warm-downs as they prepare for some September action. They will go into the finals in 3rd position. And very much 3rd position, Ben, not only on the ladder, but also, I guess, in their favouritism for the premiership. They just did enough today.
Yeah, they did. And you're right about Rashid, I think, cruising. He sort of epitomised what Adelaide... They did enough early, and then they were up to themselves what they want to do for the rest of the match.
They led at every change, the Adelaide Crows, eventually running out 40-point winners.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.
AFL Premiership Season 2002, brought to you by its premier partner, Carlton and United Breweries. And our telecast sponsors, Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft, Duracell, Amy, Primers Telecom, delivering the real value of communication, and the Navy, Army and Air Force.
Premiering 8:30 Monday on 9.
The toughest training the Army has to offer.
From Academy Award winners Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg comes an epic saga of conflict, courage and sacrifice.
I lost a man today. Not even old enough to buy a beer.
The award-winning special event series premiere.
Let's go! Get out of there!
Civilized place for civilized men.
Band of Brothers, 8:30 Monday on 9.
This is Channel 9 Sunday, 6:30 Backyard Blitz, following National 9 News tonight.
Two female tourists escape a kidnapper in the Northern Territory. Casino security under review after a gunman causes a scare. And Barley bound, Wayne Carey and his wife take time for themselves.
This is Adelaide's National 9 News with Kevin Crease.
Good evening. Also tonight, the Crows fine-tune their skills for next week's qualifying final by wiping the deck with the Dockers. But first, a new manhunt is underway in the Northern Territory after 2 female tourists were abducted at gunpoint in remote bushland. In circumstances reminiscent of last year's kidnapping of Joanne Lees and Peter Falconio, the mother and her daughter were tied up but managed to break free.
The 50-year-old woman and her 16-year-old daughter were returning to their car after viewing Tolma Falls, about 100 kilometres south of Darwin, when they were approached by a man in his early 30s.
At about sunset, the man's alleged to have pointed a black handgun at the women, forcing them into the bushes.
He bound them to a tree using cable ties and demanded money.
Sometime around about midnight, the 2 women managed to free themselves and escape.
The tourist's car had been tampered with. They were eventually picked up by a passerby and driven to Batchelor, where they alerted police early this morning. They told police they'd seen the man's car following them earlier that day.
They're quite traumatised, as would be expected, but they're not suffering any serious physical injuries.
The hunt for the gunman is still underway. Cars are being searched at roadblocks, Litchfield National Park has been evacuated, and detectives are investigating possible links to the Falconio murder and attempted abduction of Joanne Lees last July.
I stress to point out at this particular point in time that there is nothing to indicate that those 2 incidents are linked.
In Adelaide, police are waiting to see if DNA taken from a rape suspect matches that of strands of hair taken from Joanne Lee's jumper. Witnesses say the man's appearance and his car are similar to descriptions Miss Lees gave police. Layla McKinnon, National 9 News.
The Star City Casino will review its security procedures after a male patron was spotted with a sawn-off rifle protruding from his trousers early this morning. Police cordoned off the area at around 3 o'clock, but still allowed people to enter and leave the building. An hour later, Star Group officers arrested the man while he was playing a pokie machine. Police say no one was threatened during the incident. The 39-year-old will face the Adelaide Magistrates Court tomorrow, charged with numerous firearm offences. A bushwalker got himself into a spot of bother this afternoon at Morialta Conservation Park. He got himself stuck 150 metres up a cliff face. It took emergency crews almost an hour and a half to reach the man and then winch him to safety below.
Do you feel life up there?
A little bit.
Good to be back down?
The man said he was more than a tad embarrassed at the situation he'd got himself into. He decided to climb up the undesignated track with his wife, and while she had no problem reaching the top and getting down again, he panicked. The only injury the man suffered was to his pride. 3 men are lucky to be alive after their speeding car rolled several times in a narrow residential street at Prospect this morning. The car had been defected by police just a few minutes earlier. After the smash, the driver and his 2 passengers ran off with police and local residents in hot pursuit.
Just 5 minutes before this spectacular crash on Braund Road, the owner's car had been defected by police on nearby Prospect Road. Residents say the Hyundai came speeding down their street, travelling at more than 100 kilometres an hour in a 40 zone. The car and its 3 occupants hit a dip at an intersection and became airborne.
The car became out of control.
It then smashed into a Stobie pole and rolled several times, coming to stop just a few metres from a passerby. Police say it was incredible the 3 men actually survived the crash, but they're still puzzled why the men decided to flee from the scene of the accident.
At this stage we don't know, and inquiries are continuing in relation to that. Based on quite a considerable time spent at major crash investigation, yes, they are extremely lucky that they are still with us.
Residents who are angered their street is often used as a speedway even gave police a helping hand.
What we have found is that a couple of nearby residents chased after these particular lads when they disappeared from the car.
Police caught the 2 passengers several streets away within minutes of the crash. The driver was captured soon afterwards. The men have been questioned over the incident. No charges have been laid. Peter Ball, National 9 News.
Family members of Akram al-Masri, the Palestinian asylum seeker at the centre of a wrangle between the federal government and the federal court, claim his brother has been interrogated by Palestinian authorities in Gaza. Mr. al-Masri said in Adelaide today he'd rather return to Gaza than stay in detention here, despite the risks.
Go to jail, maybe kill, shoot me, people who shoot me.
Meanwhile, the federal government still intends to appeal the court decision that released Mr. al-Masri yesterday. The Immigration Department insists that it has a legal obligation to detain him.
Well, that's just ridiculous. The federal court's made a decision and it's made 2 decisions to say that the government aren't entitled to hold Akram.
The case returns to the federal court tomorrow. A leading Adelaide welfare agency has delivered a sober warning on what should be a happy day. Anglicare says there aren't really enough Father's Days, or Mother's Days for that matter, as the demands of the workplace continue to eat into family time.
The Royal Show may have been the perfect setting for families to get together and celebrate Father's Day. But according to a leading welfare agency, fathers just don't spend enough quality time with their families these days.
We actually fought long and hard to get a 40-hour week. And now we're at the situation where at least a quarter of the workforce is working more than 45 hours a week.
And just over 17% of workers are at the coalface for more than 50 hours a week. Anglicare says employers might be benefiting from the increasingly longer hours it demands of both mothers and fathers, but overall society is the poorer for it.
The effects of long working hours is it's starting to make some fathers into strangers for their children.
One of the state's busiest fathers would have to be the Premier. His working week is about 100 hours long, so Father's Day with 12-year-old daughter Molly is well earned. Mr. Rand saying he takes his children to as many work-related functions as he can.
My daughter loves going to the ballet, loves going to the netball. My son loves going to the footy, and we try to involve the kids in many of the things that I do.
It's a matter of balance, because yes, we need to work well and work hard, but that shouldn't be done at the expense of family life.
Robert McLean, National 9 News.
And there are more encouraging signs that Wayne and Sally Carey have their lives back on track. They left on an overseas holiday just days after he joined the Crows and hours after his surprise appearance at a Melbourne function last night.
Life finally seems to be returning to normal for Wayne and Sally Carey. Not sighted together in public since the storm that nearly wrecked their marriage broke over them in February, the now apparently happy couple left early today for an overseas holiday.
We're still very much together. The decision's made, and hopefully just all the past 6 or so months can just be put to rest.
Their departure came just hours after Carey had made a surprise and self-mocking appearance at former Kangaroo teammate Tim McGrath's retirement function last night.
Before I go on, I'll tell you now that I've actually rang management. I've spoken to my wife, and I'm allowed to be here for about half an hour.
Sally Carey has taken extended leave of absence from her job in Melbourne, and while she has not yet requested a transfer to the Pricewaterhouse office in Adelaide, it's expected she'll do that once they've settled into a new home.
They're very much together, so I'd imagine that'd be the case.
Assuming the Crows can come to an agreeable trade with the Kangaroos, Carey should start training with Adelaide in late October or early November. Charles Slade, National 9 News.
We'll take a break. In news still to come, the FBI says a man arrested in Sweden for attempted hijacking had taken flying lessons and was probably targeting a US embassy. And 5 years after her death, a princess is remembered.
What company is this?
An epic saga of conflict, courage, and sacrifice.
I lost a man today. I ain't old enough to buy a beer.
The brilliant series premiere, Band of Brothers, 8:30 Monday on 9.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this.
Okay.
But what happened next was totally unexpected.
Don't worry, we'll sort it out.
Only Amy gives you your own personal client manager who'll look after your claim and all your repairs from start to finish.
Lucky you're with Amy. Oh, when you're smiling. Yeah, when you're smiling. The whole world, it smiles with you.
Smiles. Crispy outside, mashed potato inside. Ah, McCain, you've done it again.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. And keep going, this is good. Left, definitely. This is it. Keep going. And we should be right here. Do you want me to drive, honey?
It's home furnishings event time at David Jones, which means you'll receive 15% in bonus gift vouchers on any full-price Natuzzi sofa. And you can enjoy 2 years interest-free with no deposit. So what are you waiting for?
David Jones.
I'm going to show you how to eat an Oreo. First you twist it, then you lick it, then you dunk it. Mom said chocolate is good for dogs, but you can have the rest of my milk.
Only Oreo.
Paul Simpson didn't expect this, but what was totally unexpected, Amy recognises good drivers. So if you've been on rating 1 for the last 3 years, you keep it for life.
It's been confirmed that the man charged with planning to hijack a plane in Sweden yesterday took flying lessons in the United States. The FBI believes Muslim Kerem Chatti was going to crash the jet into an American embassy somewhere in Europe.
Kerem Chatti is a 29-year-old convert to Islam. His lawyer says he wasn't planning a hijack, and the gun discovered in his carry-on luggage when he tried to board the plane from Sweden to Britain will eventually be explained. But authorities became even more alarmed when they discovered that, like the September 11 hijackers, Chatti had studied at a flying school in America. They're also investigating claims he may be the first of a new group of terrorists planning to crash planes into targets like the US Embassy in London.
US embassies in Western Europe are obviously very high-profile targets, so therefore it would be normal, one could almost say normal, for terrorists to attempt to attack these embassies.
Now, Swedish police are working with America's FBI to try to find out more about Chatti, who is a Swedish national. In the meantime, they've charged him with attempting to hijack an aircraft.
Also today, former President Bill Clinton, after entertaining crowds at a local show in New York, warned that America needed to be careful with its threats to get rid of Saddam Hussein. It was something, he said, that shouldn't be attempted without the support of several other countries.
I think that it's always better if we don't go alone. There's no question that he has for several years been in violation of the United Nations resolutions on inspections.
Robert Penfold, National 9 News, Los Angeles.
Israeli helicopter gunships have killed 5 Palestinians, including 2 children, in the West Bank town of Jenin. One missile hit a car carrying a wanted Islamic militant and 2 teenage boys. A second missile missed, slamming into a house, killing a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. Soon after, a Palestinian gunman entered a Jewish settlement near Nablus, wounding a pregnant woman and her husband. The gunman was shot dead. There have been low-key tributes in England and France to mark the 5th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana. However, there was still plenty of emotion for the woman many believe brought warmth and glamour to the royal family.
Nothing like the scenes of 5 years ago, but thousands still flock to the former home of Princess Diana for their tributes.
We need to pay our respects to her. I mean, she was taken from our land, but certainly not from our hearts.
Althorpe, her ancestral home, was closed for the day.
All the anniversaries are difficult. The anniversaries of Diana's birth, her death, the funeral, they're all very, very difficult times for my family.
Diana's sons, William and Harry, marked the occasion privately with Prince Charles. In Paris, just a few floral tributes at the scene of the notorious crash. Controversy lingers 5 years on. There's anger, there's no permanent public memorial, and her mother hasn't forgiven the royal family, which ordered her to keep quiet about Diana's death until foreign dignitaries were told.
That seemed to me very odd, if not insensitive, that I, her mother, couldn't tell anyone she was dead.
Many also believe, despite the promises, the tragedy has done little to curb the paparazzi's invasive habits. Matt Dunstan, National 9 News.
Well, any ageing rock and roll fans who happen to be passing through the airport this afternoon may have thought they'd stepped through a time warp. But greyer hair, wider girths and added wrinkles probably gave the game away. Some of Australia's greatest rock stars are in town for a 2-night flashback at the Entertainment Centre starting tomorrow. They include Russell Morris, Ross Wilson, Brian Cadd, Ray Columbus, Judy Stone and Dinah Lee, to name just a few. They're calling their tour A Long Way to the Top. It could just as easily be a long time at the top. Kim's here with sport from Subiaco, where the Crows have just completed their minor round.
Yes, Kev, they were fairly convincing 40-point winners. Hello, everyone. We'll have more on that after the break. Also, the Power celebrates its first minor premiership, and Leighton advances in Flushing Meadows, but only just.
You were outraged at the crimes. You cheered the punishment. Now, Peter Overton confronts
Because he's not guilty?
the ringleader's family.
I can't believe that.
60 Minutes, tonight.
Cats of Australia have made their choice. Snappy Tom. Spiro has his choice of the best fish. For cats, that's Snappy Tom. This is top quality fish. A great catch, packed fresh. That's fresh, natural fish. So Spiro loves the taste. And I know that Snappy Tom has more protein and less fat than most other brands. Good choice, Spiro.
They're all of one voice. Snappy Tom.
You know, I work like a dog all year, so I really look forward to the Royal Adelaide show. This year's gonna be great. So here's a sniff of what's in store. Cue the music. See the new look showground, new slingshot ride, entertainment in the new boulevard, food, fun, fashion, fireworks, farm animals, and so much more. It's showtime. August 30 to September 7th. Miss it, and you'll have to wait a whole year. Me, I go for the fairy floss.
You'll buy better at Buy Low, Australia's own discount supermarket.
700 or 850 gram Noble Rise bread.
$1.97.
Picnic bacon.
$5.99 a kilo.
Buy Low. Extra value for you.
And me.
Stevens in the right spot, hooks it around, can he get enough perched on it? The distance is very good. Mark Stevens has kicked the goal.
How does it feel to be forgotten? Not so long ago, you were a premium product, and now you're in the bargain bucket, following so many other has-beens. Where did it all go wrong? It's not you. You're fun and easy to use, but somewhere along the way, you fell off the shopping list. Just a minute. It all started to go pear-shaped when the TV campaign was pulled. Television. Use the power.
Hello again and welcome back to a fairly chilly Subiaco, where the Adelaide Crows have tuned up for their finals campaign in style with a 40-point victory over Fremantle today. The Crows set the win up with an 8-goal-to-1 first term. Brett Burton booted 4 goals as Adelaide more than made up for last year's embarrassing final round loss to the Dockers.
Perth's wild weather was playing havoc with feathered crows. Early on, the footballing variety enjoyed the wind at their backs, but there was nothing wind-assisted about Kane Johnson's effort.
Pulls it back as Kane Johnson. Fantastic goal.
The Adelaide engine room was humming and finding its targets. The Crows, with Johnson finishing the term as he started it, 45 points clear at quarter time.
Twists, turns, kicks, bounces, through!
Adelaide had blown Freo away. The procession continued.
So much time and space.
Brett Burton's second, 7 minutes into the second quarter, made the margin 10 goals. The Dockers were showing little in the way of resistance, and Burton was marking everything.
Burton there. He was out of the contest, Burton.
Trent Crowe took his frustrations out on Michael Doughty's head, but it made little difference. Adelaide home and hosed at the half.
Longmuir will come at it for Fremantle and takes...
Or were they? The home side raised hopes of the most unlikely comeback with the first 2 of the second half. Mark Rasciuto's long bomb with the wind was impressive. Matthew Pavlich's into it even more so.
Much better to go the journey from there, and he thumps it home.
The Dockers had a spring in the step, while the Crows couldn't take a trick. 6 goals to 3, but Freo was still 7 in arrears, turning for home. Their season over, the Dockers seemed determined to take a crow or 2 with them. But Adelaide was going nowhere, determined to finish the job. Burton's 4th, ensuring it was done in style.
Burton at the spill, slides it through, and the Crows keep charging on.
Ross Stargett, National 9 News.
2 other games, and the West Coast has snatched the final spot in the 8 with an upset win over the West Coast Eagles at the Manuka Oval. The Eagles forced their way in at the expense of Geelong with a 17-point victory. Fellow major round player Essendon blew away the Blues.
As Mickey Martin tried to unsettle Troy Wilson in Canberra, Geelong players gathered to watch the game that would decide their season. It was do or die for the Eagles as well. The pressure intense, Peter Matera gave brother Phil a blast and had something a bit tougher for Sinclair. The Roos 2 goals up at the half.
55-minute kick.
The Eagles dominated the third with 5 consecutive goals. Everything was going their way.
Brings it around enough.
Wilson rose to the occasion.
Mark of the day.
Philip Matera stealing a final spot with his 6th.
That's awesome.
At the G, any hope of a Carlton upset was quickly ended by a resurgent Matthew Lloyd.
Lloyd is a superstar. He kicks his second.
The Bomber spearhead had 5 to the half.
Very good kick towards the goal. Don't tell me Lloyd's, he's doing acrobatics now.
The result well in their keeping. The Dons rested Hurd after a heavy knock. Their supporters farewelling the Blues, a season they'd rather forget. Further confirmation earlier today that Wayne Britton's job is under threat.
There's 2 clubs that have spoken to Ricky Nixon, which has been informal.
At liberty to tell us who they are?
Well, the Bulldogs is one.
The Kangaroos would be the other?
No, Carlton, which was a couple of weeks ago.
Vicky Schwartz, National 9 News.
Well, minor premiers Port Adelaide will begin their finals campaign at almost full strength after emerging injury-free after yesterday's thriller against Brisbane. The club's only concern is the tribunal appearance of former captain Gavin Wanganeen. And while the players are already back at work, the fans are soaking up that winning feeling.
As the club song goes, this was history in the making.
Fantastic weather-wise, crowd-wise was great, and the result was amazing for us. It's a really good day.
Thousands packing Albertson to share in the club's first minor premiership.
To get that many crowd, you know, we thought we might get up around 35, but they surprised us, and we hope they all come again next week, that's for sure.
An air of anticipation also from the players.
I'm really excited about it because over 200 odd games I've played one final, so I'm really excited and looking forward to the challenges of playing and winning finals.
The 31-year-old, crushed at missing last year's campaign, just 5 games back from a knee reconstruction, Paxman is jumping out of his skin. Several teammates don't look so fit, but the club says all will be okay for the club's qualifying final against Collingwood. The only doubt surrounds a tribunal date for Gavin Wanganeen. Adam Kingsley should return from a hamstring, while Darryl Wakelin will begin running this week as he pushes to be part of the finals and the campaign to make amends for last year.
In the context of the year, we really haven't won anything yet, so we need to take it over the next 3 to 4 weeks to achieve what we set out to achieve.
Vicky Schwartz, National 9 News.
Well, locally, 3 games were played to complete round 22 in the SANFL. Winners were West over Port, the Eagles over North, and a big victory for the Double Blues over South at Noarlunga. So with 1 round remaining, the Bulldogs are 1 game clear at the top of the ladder. They play second-ranked Sturt next weekend. Norwood, the Eagles and West make up the final 5. To tennis now, and defending champion Leighton Hewitt is through to the 4th round of the US Open, where he'll meet Czech Yuri Novak. While Martina Hingis and Andre Agassi advanced in straight sets, the top seed struggled through a thrilling 5-setter. His girlfriend Kim Clijsters is also through.
The dedicated fans found their voice. Others got into the groove, while Tommy Haas took mental notes in this rematch of last year's second-round clash between American James Blake and Leighton Hewitt.
That is some passing shot.
After winning the Washington lead-up event, 22-year-old Blake was armed for an upset, and he shook the top seed by winning the opening set. The game's leading player answered the challenge, squaring it up in the second set.
That's the break. Finally.
Hewitt then swung the match his way after converting an early break in the third.
But boy, it's been a struggle with
the whim of the net gave Hewitt a 2-1 lead in the 4th.
What a way to get a break.
But from there, Blake blazed away to unsettle Hewitt.
Yeah.
He threw more caution to the wind, and with risk came reward, winning 5 of the next 6 games.
Oh, he's on fire.
Into the decider, Hewitt took advantage of Blake's bunch of unforced errors in 1 game to break and convert it to a 6-3 victory.
That's it.
In my head, I just got it in that I was playing for Australia out there. Apart from that, I just tried blocking everything else out.
Charles Christian, National 9 News.
To soccer now, and Birmingham City has recorded its first win in the English Premier League, downing Leeds United. Overnight, there were also wins for Manchester City, Middlesbrough, Tottenham, West Brom and Charlton. Well, there you go. That wraps it up from Subiaco Oval. The completion of the minor round, round 22. Adelaide getting over Fremantle by 40 points, a fairly convincing margin, so they're all fired up to take on Brisbane next weekend, and let's hope they do okay. Back to you, Kevin.
Good on you, Kim. Xavier's up next with his weather report for the start of the working week, but right now, here's where you'll find tomorrow's speed cameras.
On a current affair, Debt Busters.
I couldn't make the repayments and also survive.
How to break the credit cycle.
I would recommend this to anyone.
And put you back on top.
Brilliant. We can get on with our lives.
Nissan presents A Current Affair.
Remember how it felt when you were 6? Feel it all over again. Introducing the Mazda 6 sedan, hatch and wagon. Sporting a new engine with SVT and new Active-Matic transmission. Because what fun is getting a present if you can't open it up?
You'll buy better at Buy Low, Australia's own discount supermarket.
2-litre Coca-Cola and varieties.
$1.67.
9-pack Kleenex toilet tissue.
$4.87.
Buy Low.
Extra value for you.
Cats. Pollen. Zyrtec for hay fever and allergies. Starts working in just 20 minutes. Lasts 24 hours. Zyrtec. Starts working in 20 minutes. Lasts 24 hours.
Until Wednesday, Target is giving a flat 20% off the marked price of Manchester. 20% off sheets, curtains, quilts, pillows and towels. But hurry, because Target can only decrease their prices for so long.
Not so long ago, I'd have been considered an incurable romantic.
This woman is trying to prevent a fragile environment being destroyed by the search for oil and gas. She wants to preserve an area of outstanding natural beauty for future generations and protect the local culture from the shock of the new.
We believe it's possible to provide the energy the planet needs without ignoring the needs of the planet.
Despite this, she's not at war with the oil company. She is the oil company.
Coming up, are the Blitz team tough enough to rise to a biker's challenge?
What a fantastic way to celebrate Father's Day.
Backyard Blitz, next on 9.
This weather report brought to you by Shell.
Good evening, folks. Great conditions here today. Not so in the eastern states, especially Sydney. They are sunbathing on Bondi, dodging hail the next. In a last blast of winter, unconventional hail storm came through, causing widespread damage. And, of course, the damage to lots of roofs, houses, cars, vegetation. Mind you, some took it all in their stride and they thought it was winter all over again, taking the chance to play outdoors. However, we don't think that this activity will be prolonged, and they'll probably clear it up as soon as they can get to it. Meanwhile, back at home, 7 degrees this morning, up to 21.4 this afternoon, currently 16.6, and the barometric pressure's on the fall. Now, having a look at our state, please be aware, while it was fine today, we do have a very severe system coming through. It's going to reach the west in the morning, move through the state into the east by the afternoon or evening, bringing with it some really widespread rain activity, followed up a secondary frontal system bringing through further showers that will persist probably through to Tuesday morning and clearing after that. However, with that, we are expecting some very strong to gusty storm activity. Having a look at the analysis, while we've got the high-pressure cell keeping us lovely, there's that long spread of frontal activity. The northerlies will still persist in behind it, west to northwesterly, as I say, becoming strong to gale force at times on the coast. And with that dry condition turning into the wet, we are expecting some interference to the electromagnetic properties of the air. Further afield, Perth is the one with showers. The rest are fine. Maximum range from 17 in Perth up to 34 in Alice. And here in our state today, maximum range from 15 degrees at Edithburgh up to 32 degrees at Annabella. So for the forecast then, fine and mild first, raised dust in the north and west, then the strongest squally westerly change coming through, rain and thunderstorms to follow. The warnings are for gales in coastal waters south of Elliston, Arno Bay and Adelaide, strong winds for all remaining areas. Temperature-wise, 24 the top for Clare, 20 degrees the top for Mount Gambier. Elsewhere in the state, you're looking at 22 for Newry and 22 for Victor Harbour. On the waters, here's the rub. Northerly winds at 30 knots. They'll shift northwesterly, 17 to 22, then strengthening again to 30 knots by the evening, seas to 2 metres. And for the metro area, so fine in the morning, then that rain in the afternoon, 24 for both Adelaide and Elizabeth, maximum of 22 Mount Barker and Noarlunga at 23 over the next few days. Now, with shower activity persisting right through, there may be a slight break on Wednesday, but the persistence of that rain and shower activity coming back on Thursday, temperature staying around. The long-term forecast at this stage, showers. Here's Kev.
Thanks, Xavier. And now here's a reminder of today's top stories.
2 female tourists abducted at gunpoint in remote bushland south of Darwin. The women were tied up to a tree but managed to escape in circumstances reminiscent of last year's kidnapping of Joanne Lees and Peter Falconio. There's to be a review of security procedures at the Star City Casino after a male patron was spotted with a sawn-off rifle protruding from his trousers. And it looks like Wayne and Sally Carey's lives are back on track. Today, the couple left Melbourne for an overseas holiday. And that's it from us. Hope all you dads had a fabulous Father's Day. We're assured not every father in Adelaide took their kids to the Royal Show, but at times it sure looked like it. Good night.